How you doing today?
Good. How about you?
Not too bad. Another wonderful day in paradise. Oh, wait, that's down the road, isn't it?
I'm telling you, you need Velcro shoes. You just find out.
They're coming tight again?
The other one, yeah.
I am serious, I'm trying
If
to
it
get.
didn't hurt the one that I have.
I'll get it.
That would say because you have a pair of shoes.
Oh, thank you.
Alright. I'm tired again.
Okay, I want to make sure this is cleaned up.
Well, I've got to a point where I buy shoes
Junking
I
it up.
can.
and
You know,
we-
I
You
think I
kind
would
of
show
just slip along and off.
Oh, I think I'm gonna invest in some Velcro.
I think I need a little tape here.
My dad's 80 years old, he knows Velcro.
We have clips.
I mean, I don't need, these shoes haven't been that tight since I bought them.
I think that's what I need, it's just something I
You
can
know, I make
tie.
sure the backing of them have a real strong backing, so when my foot goes into it, it
Doesn't
doesn't
squish
break the
it.
back.
Yeah, maybe I should look into that, that'd be a kind of an idea.
No, just wiggle them in and there you go.
Oh, well, let's see. I need to remind Darren. I'm going to start opening the agenda on my computer because when I do it on my phone, I don't really see everything.
It's kind of hard to,
It is. I'm not talented like the young people.
well, you can make it larger.
But that would, it still wouldn't work for me. So
Cake on
here is this,
it.
everything, he sent everything. I need to put it here. And I still don't know about that. I didn't bring my coffee over. I'll bet Roman thought my cup was his cup. Did you? I said, yeah, that has nut pods in it. I keep trying to get a cup of coffee, but I keep getting sidetracked. I need Prevagen. If you watch, yeah, you know Prevagen. That commercial,
Is that
if
for
you
the
can't
brain, right?
focus.
That's for your memory?
Yeah.
Howdy,
Morning, Ron.
what's going on today?
Same stuff, different day, I guess. Like I said, another beautiful day in paradise.
Yeah?
Hey, Roman,
Yep.
How's it going in Alberton?
Ah, let's see. Son got a gun from Trader Brothers that was kind of a strange one. It was a World War I gun. They used to be a German K98, and but I think they shot an 8 in them. He's a big history buff. But then in World War I, you know, what became a popular rifle or gun to have in the trenches was the shotgun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they got in the trench, they could just do much damage in a short
Yeah.
road. So it got converted from an 8mm to a bolt-action K98 shotgun. It can hold 2 in the magazine. So it's kind of not very good for duck hunting when you got to do this, but it's one of those historical.
You never, how much do you have to pay for that?
150.
Oh, that ain't bad.
Yeah, because I think it's kind of like, not many people are
No,
into that. you
I
know.
didn't never know they.
So we have a bill here for the recording person for the writ of mandamus that was, the judge said. Yep, so I don't know, you want it to come out of the commissioner's budget, or would that come out of the county attorney's budget? Where would that come out of?
If it's expensive, maybe we can have it.
It's very expensive.
Oh,
Well, we have a $779.80 bill and a $464.60. So I think that's expensive. Okay,
Yeah.
look at
And
it.
then-
I think,
Well,
I don't know, but I think that we probably have to pay it, right? We don't wanna wait. Oh, no, I mean, we don't wanna wait.
Oh, it's for the deposition.
Yeah,
don't wanna piss the judge.
well, right, we do have other ones coming up.
Maybe you should ask Deb, I mean, who's incurring all the costs?
Well, who is? I mean, the judge orders it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so,
who is?
plaintiff or us? That's what I mean, that's what, ask for that.
It's us, no,
Oh,
it
okay.
is us. Yeah, so we, I just don't know if we want to take, if that needs to be out of commissioners or
Yeah, I
attorneys
guess
or.
we can visit with her and see if
Okay, so,
we have it or if we
so
a third with the other departments.
I just want to make a note of that, of what we
There's
need.
three of us involved.
Right, that's what I think, yeah. Okay, so number one, talk to attorneys about,
Talk to Deb about if that should be split and how many ways.
Yeah,
that's what we both said, yep. Oh, yeah, I think it should be there too. What do you call that person?
Stenographer?
Not anymore, yeah.
It's a deposition paper, but they
Yeah.
I can let them do that.
Court recorder.
Shoot a bunch of asses.
It's, yeah, I don't think there's
Want to say I'm
stenographer.
wrong?
What? No. I expected you two guys to know. Okay. And then we also.
Mike Burton was my
I think we got these
So
new
you
guys.
did not visit the court often as a youngster. We should take a look at,
And, oh, we can let the minutes reflect
I thought I saw
that
something.
balance versus expenditure report and a cash report. If you would like to-
oh, and I want to learn about this. Is this the one that,
This is the cash.
This is from Diane this morning. Do you need each of them? Or,
we do need them both?
okay, I'm gonna go make
And
photocopies
we
then.
need her email also. What is she saying to us? Do we need to,
Review today.
and
Oh,
sign
yeah.
today, or, yep, if we could have that email.
I'll get that email too.
Okay, so I think that, okay, first of all, let's put this in here.
So this is, so I already used the cash report from a year ago, and you compare it with the one this year to see how the cash is doing. Of course.
So you do a year ago?
Well, then you, well, I mean, if you have the numbers now, then you can see, compare.
Yeah, so have you always gotten last year's to go with this?
It's helpful when you want to make sense of the numbers, but,
Okay,
so like,
because,
and then you'll see some coding numbers like the sheriff's office or like Dr. and they go red, often that's when you have to have just a transfer pill to make them solve it to get it at the end of the year. This is 23, this is, but that's numbers typically adjusted. Pill.
but so if it's negative this much, what was this? Was this oh, so they received this money, so now it's only in the hole this?
Right.
And is that typical? They would be in the hole that much?
It had been the last several years, yeah.
And
And see, like
so,
this, like here, 183,000 on the sheriff's office. And that's, because that's what, they have public safety. Detention does, now it's currently working.
that's it.
I remember we transferred money out of detention
To the sheriff's office.
to the sheriff's.
Right.
So, okay, so if it started at, we transferred this out at this much, transferred this out, so now they have a balance of
Mhm.
71.
Yeah,
And what typically is done with that money?
well, like this, till the end of the year, that we hope that we have more cash than we do. You know, we wanna keep everything solvent and,
Yes, but, okay, so you've had to take money from there to give to the sheriff's department. But so what is that actually earmarked for in the detention center?
it's their fund for their wages and their
Their
meals.
wages.
Their, everything from the detention center, it's the salary of the detention officers, the meals that they pay, the incarceration fees that there are, any that we owe, say somebody got arrested in another county, on a county warrant, they might bill us, so, you know,
So, has it ever happened that you have transferred enough out that they don't have enough to meet their expenses, or more, because it's always done at budget time?
that's always done about, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they can run and.
Okay, and this person has a lot of money, who's that? Public, so how's that different, public safety? Where's that?
Yes,
Yeah, and so what will you end up doing with that?
hopefully carry over. So this is the. The general fund, 1,000, so that there's some commissions paid out, and some quarter.
Okay,
So
so,
the total committed spent in the general fund is 15% of the budget.
and so how close do you usually do that now? The 58 is?
Well, it depends on what part portion is. So if you're 6 months into the year, it might
Yeah.
be about 50%. And then when you're at the end of the year, you spend 100%.
So are we right on target?
Yeah, we're doing okay on this particular.
Okay, so let's look a second at that bill. Which fund would that come out of? I mean, let's just see where we stand.
So if we,
Or would that be legal services?
yeah, we would probably use legal services for our portion.
Yeah, for our portion.
And what's available is funds.
I know it's hard.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put legal in
Yeah,
there so we
because
can
that
see?
13,
Looks like,
19.
yeah, 1,900.
Oh, no, yeah, I went right. It's 10.
Oh, yeah, and more than once in these glasses.
You don't need glasses?
I lucked out again.
Really? Still at your age?
I've got them, you know, I don't wear it very often.
I might need cheaters looking at these. I have some in my purse. But wait a second. Okay, so,
So, yeah, we can split that.
okay. And then let's look at their account and see what they have.
Okay. So, before we get that stuff, it's a fund and everybody signs up. And the subset of the general fund, general fund, 1,000. You see, I'm saying it that way, Don, because you might get to one, like, so, suddenly we come to the road, that's the special road.
You got it yourself. I
So
can't
there's
including what you need to
road, we
do.
have some subsections. 2110 is the road fund, there's the general fund, there's the road fund, there's subsets. There's some county commission, there's some salary here, the rest of their subsets. Salary, balance, so their
Someone has asked me about,
fund,
I don't know, just,
46%.
they approve it one time and then.
40%, so they're,
I was gonna take
oh, they always,
a
they're the county attorney.
Yeah.
All of those people, that's the only thing I'll look at every 3 or 4 years. That's all it's good. Really quick of yourself. There you go.
So what if you drive one of the reservations, somebody said to me, they help you keep their water, and then I hear it's sold out, or they send each other. Is that true?
He did.
And I see.
Well, it is a lot.
They haven't signed the contract yet?
There's a compact.
I know.
These names
There
are signed.
is something. Let me explain it.
So I'm anxious for you to make that.
Number, if I know the number, then
That's what he told me.
I could say all three of us reviewed this. I could remember.
The case came
You guys have the reins.
You can sit over there.
hopefully, Mark, how would you, what do you do?
You're here.
Oh, no, nothing, City and Georgia, both, my mom is gonna get back.
the federal government said, this is what the traffic is with that.
So that,
That's what it is. In its priorities, it is. If you treat it, that's the law.
And then we also, after we make that phone call, if we have time to take a look at this, so we're ready for John.
Oh,
But I didn't send this to Mackenzie.
They said, oh, so bless your hearts, you know, all the time.
I gotta talk to him and do that. He did tell me to straight out, and I was wondering if I was at least. Okay. Darren, could you scan this and get approval from Mackenzie? Okay. And if we could, yeah, so that we have it for.
I'll do that right.
And I understand she may not get back to you, but hopefully she will.
So this is the same. So what they did is they actually turned 2 billion
That's okay, for the applicants.
Okay.
Because this is just.
Yeah, 8,000.
That's Diane's.
And then,
Okay. What time does that say?
5 minutes till.
You see, you can't see how long. Okay, so we don't have enough money.
No.
Which account do we go to?
Oh, way out, 9:17.
Yeah.
These may or may not.
the budget was just, what does that mean?
Is that you?
Oh, no. No, we're not this guy. That's what they said. I don't know. So I said, wait a minute.
Are you what?
sign in.
Let's see. I don't know, you can
So that's fine.
look at
We're not
those.
happy, it's $95,000. And then you
I don't think I have anything.
say, oh, yeah, we got
And,
No, I'm not done.
oh, I just put her names there.
Oh, there's no.
Really?
This is Diane's, he gave you one, I think. Yeah, but
Don't
do
worry
you
about
think we're gonna
it.
do?
Nobody else is.
He needs some help getting through my folders.
What are you doing? So Dane's uniform.
Well, okay, so as far as posting a job description, I think this is the one that Amy came up with from someone. We just need to send that to Mackenzie, or that isn't really, yeah, it's not us. I mean, so do you, that's just what we wanna do, or do you wanna wait and we'll, you know, hers was like 1997, and so Amy found
So they
this.
take what they think is what they
All right.
was saying.
I didn't ask her, she just said, here's what I
So
found.
when I was.
So I guess that would be the next step, just to ask her.
I was supposed to.
The sign that you see, a couple of guys.
yes.
So the minutes were.
I don't know why.
It was always a Zoom meeting. And so they'd send them out.
Okay.
They had.
So we're good with, okay, so now, I think that,
So we did the template set.
But see, I was just double contracts and their contracts said they had this many days.
Sure.
So if I didn't get it, they called them, so we had to dump that average.
The measuring point.
Just like 40 minutes. Oh, yeah, because you put that in minutes.
What's the dam?
We'll let it run.
I think that would be immediate. We'll be covered by then.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay,
Good, Casey, give that to ask about what it is, or tell him.
Darren,
Oh, Darren.
I don't know who gave it to Darren, but I told him, we can check on that. Okay,
You said this, and I live in Austin, you're at your dad, and said, I'm gonna go off, I was gonna shut this job down, he's gonna pay us for standby. And so they would, and they were in there, we were just talking, I said, we
here's my
need to think about it, and he said,
email.
even to the fact that the building was not being constructed.
The big thing is, what people were doing,
You said, I said, well, I don't know, he said, you keep telling me that, who's on that, because we go 1 day by 8.
we need it. We're just telling you.
Okay, we'll send her a.
No, we've already got
Yeah.
that. So thank you for calling.
That is a
But we're not telling you
1
how
hour
color
assembly.
it is.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, then that's a.
But if you never saw.
Yes, except, do you want to send the message to Amy, or do you want me to? About, is this what you want to use for your job description? Do you want me to send the message to Amy?
Use the one that
Well, keep everything.
You keep it.
I didn't see that she put too many boxes. No, we need to talk to
and the bottom is stickers.
Or and all that.
And I said, but I'm not putting it on because it's not, so we're at this stage, I asked you, you said.
Whose are they?
They must be.
I said, that's fine, I need
But
them
you
in
can't really.
the
No,
So when the
no.
lawsuit was because people couldn't get out of the upstairs, they sued you. Oh, what would it cost to put 2 layers on?
Direct me to do it.
But see, they can't charge you for the water. Only the fish. But see, they can't actually do that either. Nobody made the argument. We tried for it, the fish. They got away with that because the government. So that's how they got away.
1 second. I don't think so. Okay, I just sent that off to Amy.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been it. But see, really make the argument, nobody else is going to see.
Are we gonna do this? I don't really, I think we were too unclear on the agenda.
The same as what
What do you think?
Yeah. Okay. You want me to call her, or are you going to call her?
in the tree.
I'll let you.
So we need to put water in. That's what it is.
I know.
Guess what?
Shall I hand you the? And I am the witness.
Yeah.
That is so far down, I really, spend money. But what I'm saying is, the county, you will look at the Fish Creek entry or
Oh, for crying out loud.
Carol, don't pull on that too.
I know, because I would snap back at me.
So it's huge business for the township.
Hello. Can we help you? Who?
Roman.
So they're gonna buy it.
Hey, what do you know?
Hey, there's no answer. Maybe you
The
should.
big thing is, if you wanna see the county.
Sign bills and stuff.
Yeah, this.
Okay.
And I went to like 4th stores, I checked ours, so I don't know, I
They
guess.
had settled something.
Yeah, we'll keep looking. I do appreciate that, thank you.
Saying.
I just think about it when I stuff my coat. Thank you. Yeah, no worries.
That's the track, that's what the track does. And it's ass backwards. But they don't want to, they don't want to. You can use the lot as part of the lot for service. You get $3 Yeah, that's really the issue. The other water quality issue is this. There's two ways to look at it. If you go to Telescope, this is from when I was a kid. Because you're about the same age as me, and I'm still. You might be a little. Okay, what I'm saying is, labor, there was a question in the first edition, so she transitioned. So Telescope, because there's too much phosphorus, so Fleming County had a system in charge of you can't buy one, you can charge every phosphorus. They did that. So the solution to the issue was a elimination of source. So for the trial, the solution is if there's too much phosphorus in the water, we need to eliminate the source. You tell me
She doesn't sleep a lot right now.
you can't be happy with or the other way, now we're saying, wait a second, he's going to be one where he's getting something, he's going to sugar and get something. So the other way, pollution is the solution. The solution to pollution is great solution. So instead of saying shut down the sewage plants, shut off all the irrigate pipes, shut down the bill of St. Regis. So there's two ways it works. And nobody solved it. But that's what that means. And you and I are old enough to remember when the down phosphate got turned farther. That was a big deal. So if the tried to down phosphate got turned into Superior, instead of saying that you just was addressed to it could. But you don't know.
It's a battle over
But it's safe. But that is part of what the deal is. So the signs you see, that's what they were waiting to. Is when he bought out Frank Paul's property, he bought out the potato guys who were right about where we're staying. As part of that.
She's partial leave today, she's not here.
He bought out those guys.
I'm not sure why he didn't answer her phone, I should have asked.
It's gonna be, the reason I can't talk into it, these guys understood.
I know you did. Okay. Any word from Amy? Not yet, okay. Do you want to take a look at this? I'll turn the heater on, I don't want to cook down. I'm freezing.
Good, right about the feed station then.
Okay,
Turn that heater on.
okay.
No, but when you bought the truck, that'll be the deal too. What's the difference?
Oh my God.
You got it on water.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's what the signs are.
And you're real.
She does, and she's coming in March, and she said she'll,
So they put that big ad in the
but she said if you really want to solve those hours. Yeah, sometimes,
in the track.
that's right. So we need to put them on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we don't, I don't want to know this.
So, I guess, my question is that sign for the tribe or is it for the other people?
The sign is for the track. But see, the marketing materials for all, but you guys need this,
I
right?
mean, it's both ways, it's,
You don't
maybe
have
it's
to
not
make
for
it
other people, but they're saying to save all the water.
But that sign is to say the public's water.
Keep the fingers crossed.
That's what he's
It's winning. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my March.
That's what he's trying to do, is
Part of the other day,
this is our stuff. It's kind of an embarrassment that they misinterpreted it, so. And the trees.
Do you think we should still just take a look before we get Mackenzie's approval on this dispatch supervisor?
Everybody else?
And then if you, I've written to Amy to see if this is what she would like us to use for the job description.
Well, the difference is,
Oh, okay.
Because Lori's, I didn't yet.
So what can you do with that?
but the reality is, you watched it, you can do it, you've seen it, so when you read it, it makes sense.
Oh, we usually involve T-bone in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a David.
Oh, yeah.
It was Nick Hayes.
We'll have to see what his opinion is on this bar show.
I was trying to think what we usually do.
Yeah, he'll have the ideas already lined up. So what you're wondering, Donald, is if this is satisfactory for you?
Yes, for a dispatch supervisor.
Didn't change much on it?
I haven't changed anything, this came from Ed.
Oh,
But I did have Aaron send to Mackenzie.
okay.
Because we don't know if they changed it. You know, he thinks this is fine.
Yeah. Well, we got the rest of the day, maybe hear back from
What time is he? He's scheduled for one, something like that.
Oh,
For approval on that.
oh. When did Darren, you know when Darren sent it?
Just.
Oh,
It-
just.
My fault, I didn't tell him when he received it to send it to me. No, I think she said 1997.
No, I mean,
Oh, dispatch? No.
And they got paid in.
Never had one. Mike was always,
So they didn't really gain anything.
But we created.
You know, 3 months.
well, we give him the title and we pay him for
Yeah.
it, but there is no job description. So, for me, that's been an issue. Yeah, I think we each have one. I'm taking that from you.
Yeah.
You have that, okay. Bringing it back. So, I'll put it in your folder.
I think that's.
And I see that we have, oh, Mark Mellon. Did you want to go to his dinner?
Yeah, my wife said I could drive over there to start the county mileage and have been to it. It looks like they're going to.
The Silver Star Steak.
Yeah. Roman, are you going to that?
I don't
Mark
think so.
Mellon? He's the road guy, right?
He's the engineer that we've used in several of these projects around here.
Oh,
Hi, Nick.
oh.
If they did all
Next
that work, I
week?
think they did all that work in St. Regis.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
He's giving you the pick of 2 different.
A dinner invitation for Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, we would go
Wow.
Monday or
Big
Tuesday.
retirement.
Yeah, go. I would drive over just for a steak. Then I'd be in trouble there.
They want me to roast steak.
Did you bring him home?
Because
I predicted him. My brother was in Norwegian. She lived there.
Oh, yeah.
The steak just went to the side. She went for the barrel.
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget going to Brittany Henderson's wedding. Like, I had to go to Missoula and do something I didn't have time to eat before I went to the wedding. I was starving, so I quick threw some marrow bones in the oven.
You know what, you from that. I go over and get these knuckles. And I just know they smoke or cook it. Oh, God, they don't get, they hang on to it for a week after.
Oh, yeah.
It must be that smoke getting into them.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and so I think we've done everything in our folders, except Rona, it looks like you have quite a few things in your folders that are
Yeah.
tabbed.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just checked. Maybe
Okay.
show the back of the car.
And this, did you say we're going to,
Consult with T-Bone.
so should it be scanned to him, or you wanna give him a call, or how do we wanna do that, or tell Casey?
And he may have already, sent photo, sent to me, I don't know where it's at. Sent a text on that.
Okay,
He told me yesterday, I think it was, that they put his arm off on that Thursday.
we need to check with Norm and see where he is on our insurance inventory, because that's due the 17th. What's today? The 17th?
Yeah.
Better give Norm a call.
Mm-hmm. Is he in the building today?
Yes, he was this morning. Do we need the Mako directory of Montana County officials? We do. We already
Oh,
have so much.
Here, here's what
No,
it
it's
is. Do
just
you,
a-
do you like these? How many, how much are they? We don't need that many.
We just need one,
Yeah.
if we want. We have to pay for it, they're $25.
Yeah, 'cause we have to-
Yeah, do we need it? I don't think so
You
either.
can go
We can
online.
call them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And these, and a lot of these don't change very often year
Yeah.
to year, so.
right.
Yeah, and now people just look at the website, who's the commissioner and blah, blah.
Yep. And then we have to, Diane needs this right away.
That's what she said.
I can't follow. I'm in Bridgerton.
Is Wally here?
Oh, where is Wally? We do need to ask him.
Well, he was supposed to look at it.
Yeah,
Yep.
did he?
I don't know.
Got this counter junk. Okay, did you take my pen again? No, you didn't, you're right. Anthony?
You leave it there long enough, I will. You leave it there long enough, I will.
There should be another calculator on. I'll leave the second one out too in case anyone else would like to use it. I don't know if it works.
So check it back on that.
Okay? Where should we put that?
Yeah, so we don't lose it.
I know, yeah. I'll put it in my, oh, no, here, right here. Yep, we'll put it right here, and I'll write it down. This was, so we're waiting for Jason? Is that
Yeah,
right?
to
Okay.
reply, yeah.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he's got the priority listed already, we'll just double check.
Today's, and did you text Norm?
No, I thought you want me
No,
just to
yes,
have him
if you
come down
could.
here?
Uh-huh. Darren, where do you stand on the Payne West inventory?
I think we're almost there.
It's due today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think she's got everything now, the building, she did send me a sheet yesterday, that I'll probably better show you, but as far as the inventory for the building is back, the vehicles is back,
Okay,
and what was the other thing? There's something else, but I think they're
okay.
almost finished.
So, any trouble with the vehicles? Because I still, carry that concern since Andy's somehow got dropped.
Well, it's on there now.
His is, right,
100%.
but we have, how many vehicles? 25, so I just wanna make sure that I think that what we need to do is check with the treasurer's office and make sure they're all registered.
Okay.
And I bet if they're not busy.
We've dropped one, so the four-wheeler ATV for Dave Brink's department.
I think that was actually dropped a long time ago.
The weed board?
Yeah. But I think it would be wise to take your list up to the treasurer's office
Okay.
and have them check to see that all those vehicles are registered.
Oh, the equipment list, that's the other thing.
Did you get that back?
Yeah, I sent it to him. What?
But you got it back, yeah, you got it back from Jason.
I've got it back from everybody that,
Good, good,
that-
excellent.
I think.
Okay,
As
so
far as
if
I
you would
know.
just take your vehicle list up to the treasurer's office and have them check to see that those are all registered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let Joanna know that you're doing a reference check and that your vehicles, while you turn in your list, you're gonna have the treasurer's office do a double check.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. Is that the one that got auctioned off? Because I thought, okay,
You know,
I thought he got
I
rid
don't
of
know
it.
why hasn't. Never mind.
No, pass,
No,
pass.
no, I'll figure it out.
No, if I can answer it, it'll save you time.
Well, I don't think you can answer it.
What?
I don't think you can answer it. I'm just
Let's
thinking
give
to
it a shot.
myself, why T-Bone hasn't gotten a hold of me, hasn't told me about. It seems like he would say something if,
About what?
well, the equipment, either he.
Did you get a report back from T-Bone on the equipment?
No, no.
I thought you said you did and you sent it.
No, I did not. From T-Bone, but from everybody else.
Oh, okay, so you need to call
Well,
them because
and I didn't get it from everybody.
it's due today.
If he replies to my text, I'll follow him.
Yeah, so when they don't get back to you, I'm so sorry you have to chase after them, but you do have to chase after them.
Okay, so who the hell do I need to call? There's T-Bone. I'll go run into it right now. But, so who do I need to call then?
Well, who didn't turn in
to
their
deport?
list?
Well, Andy I heard from, and Dave Rink I heard from, and Tom Clement I heard from.
Good point.
So the library I did not. T-Bone, I'll run him down right now.
Okay, so I know that it's tedious and it adds
No,
to,
that's fine.
it adds
I
to
just-
stuff on your
I
plate
just
when you
figured
don't
since
do
they
it.
didn't send it to me that it was fine maybe, but maybe
No,
we
no,
can
no.
get it now,
Yep,
realize,
yep.
right? So, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So I would send it, I didn't think the library's open today.
Why?
I don't know, they have a weird
They're
schedule.
only open on certain days, I know, Tuesday, Thursday, I think maybe. I'm not sure. I will get with them. They're not open, today's Friday, right? They're definitely not open today, I don't think.
I don't think so either, but I would touch base with Joanna and let her know that you haven't heard back from these people yet.
Okay. I guess I've said it, in my email, I told her, this is what I've received so far, so.
I would touch base with her since it's due today
Okay.
and say, I still have not gotten these departments, but
Hey,
I'm
Norm.
on it and I will keep working to get these for you as soon as possible.
All right, thanks.
You know, we're not open Monday.
Norm's here.
Norm's here. I just wanted to do a check, but Darren came in to make sure that the property list was all completed. Perfect, thank you. Did you find anything that was not already taken off, or do we have any
No.
new buildings?
The list needs to be reorganized so it's a little easier to read, because the schoolhouse I couldn't find on the list for a while, so I had to call someone to see if we actually owned it, and it turns out it's on the list elsewhere, kind of hit.
It's like 4 spaces up.
Yeah,
And I
it's
could
like,
probably-
I thought that was
I could
funny.
actually, since you talked to me, I could probably move that down, if it's okay.
Well, Payne West sent it to us that way, so before I made any changes, I
Talk to
would
her.
check with them. Thank you for getting that
No
done.
problem.
So you went out and physically inspected everything?
Yeah, I went to
Good,
Ocean,
good,
everything.
good, thank
Yeah, went
you.
down to the airport. I always thought the airport was involved, but I guess not. Apparently we just drive in.
Thank
I
you.
do every day.
There's no TSA there?
I guess not.
You
We'll
were
see if
screened, you don't know it.
the balloon's gonna get me.
Thank you, Norm.
No,
You're
thank
good.
you. Thanks for being so responsive.
Good.
That's right.
I mean, they're just there, but
still need to go to the bank so I can sign checks.
You haven't went over there yet?
I haven't gone over there. We're always busy. Maybe during one of the breaks I could go.
Went around
Oh,
some dogs.
I know.
How many dogs do you have?
I just have one.
Oh,
But she had to be in the zoo by 7:45 yesterday morning because they're x-raying for a torn ACL.
oh my gosh, I just went through that.
Oh, did you?
Did I tell you about that?
No? No.
Got my big large Rottweiler, who was like 118, big old boy. He runs, he runs with my border collie, so when I was plowing the road, my driveway was about 8/10 of a mile long. And they jog along the truck in front, behind, and chase forward. So, at the end of the day, I'm coming back up, and I'm just gonna turn around and park the truck. And I'll just push all the snow here and then back up and park. I mean, so it was an unnecessary last final push. And he was in this border collie were around front there playing. And you know, those blades, they have a spring on it, so when they tilt, that if you catch something, they give. So it was going like that, and all of a sudden it broke free of whatever was hooked on, like some mud or ice, and went clang, and that sudden, abrupt, loud noise, the Rottweiler on icy slick, he was playing, he wasn't thinking, he heard this noise, he just bolted, he just reacted, like that's it right on the football field,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I heard this, he yelped, and I'm well, you didn't get hit by anything, what's the problem? You didn't and it was that.
Did you have the surgery?
Yeah, they said he's so big. So in the olden days, they used to do that artificial one. Where
Because we had a pet that had an artificial one.
yeah, they'd put another ligament in there, and it's like $800 or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
But now this new one is spendier because it's a new.
35.
Oh wow.
Where are you?
Mine was 32.
Where? Well, they told me between 3 and 35.
Mine was 32. Well, maybe it is at the time you get the rivet. I don't know. No, it was all okay. But we have to go in for an X-ray before we get the surgery. So that's so it's about 30.
Yeah.
So what they do now, so a dog's leg is kind of like, for lack of a better illustration, it's kind of like this, and there's a ligament on it. So when they pull it, it slides easy, and that's why they say ligament. So they do this new operation, they actually saw the bone, called TCLO, tibia leveling or something operation. So they cut the bone, they actually pull the tooth out with the puzzle, refix it, no, it's on a flatter surface. So the poor guy has to be basically confined 2 months because that bone has to be back together, otherwise it's malleable. They put a plate with some screws in it, but if the dog does anything like jumps up the plate with the dog, he'll break that little plate with screws. So you gotta really take it easy so it heals fully. And this guy, he's not even 3 years old, he's an old man, he's being able to run and jump.
So are you keeping him in the house while he's recovering?
Well, no, because when initially, they have to go to the bathroom, and I have steps,
Yeah.
and you don't want to.
I had to build a ramp in the middle of winter for our other dog, because we had steps.
And then when I come to these meetings, and my wife works too hard, so I just set up a spot in the garage. And then when it's really cold, I have like a little heater to kind of flip it over and top. So he's in the garage by day, and then when I'm not there, and otherwise he's in the kennel, and then sometimes I'll let him in the house when we go hang out with us.
Well, because
misses
if he
everything.
can't they can't get his body going.
Right.
There's generating the heat.
So anyway, I'm going on week 7, so I'm almost out of the woods with him. We do little short walks,
Yes,
8
yes.
minutes, and he just can't wait to get off the leash.
But it sounds like a much quicker recovery because the one that we did years ago, that was a year,
Oh my God.
a whole year. And so you had so many weeks you couldn't walk around, and then you could take 5-minute walks for a week, and then 10-minute walks. It took a year, and that's what I'm saying. This one,
The things that we do for our dog, I just put it on the credit card. But a friend of mine goes, he's not very cute.
Hello.
I can't.
How's it going?
yeah.
Really good. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Unless you already have it.
Is that the scalp that's good already?
You have it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Roman, was that the TPLO surgery?
Yeah, tibia plateau leveling.
Oh, yeah, now
I
you
know,
have
I
me
know,
this.
I'm sorry.
Tibia leveling.
Yeah,
There's only like two doctors
I was-
in the
yeah, I
whole
do
state
that one.
that do it.
the
That's
Keast,
great.
Pardon me?
was your
You guys
the
don't know
Keast
one of
do it?
Yes.
Dr. Keast?
No, it's, he's a track, he comes
Oh, we can
out of
have
Great
fun.
Falls.
Be brave.
I forgot his name, that wasn't it though, but he comes out of Great Falls to my vet, and my vet assists him. But so I had to wait a full 3 weeks till that doctor, they said, well, if you wanna take him up there, I'm gonna put him in a car, having him whimper and moan with a leg that just got sawed and reattached, all the way from Great Falls.
Yeah, I had to do that. Sonny was,
Why would that be tough?
she wasn't even a year old. I had to do it.
What breed is she?
Chocolate lab.
Oh, yeah,
Imagine keeping a chocolate lab puppy, like,
yeah.
hell.
Yeah.
I'm so mad, I mean, I guess some dogs are more prone to it, but I think this was just the situation of, you know, being on the ice and then having that loud noise make him just abruptly want to move, and he slipped. At least I'm hoping that's what it was, because if it is a genetic thing, then get ready for the other leg, right?
Oh, no, the other leg's gonna go anyway, unless you get it fixed right away, because, right, with our lab kit, we had one leg done, and the recovery was so horrible, we didn't do the other, well, the other was shot. And they tell you,
Yeah, they say that, yeah, no, they don't go.
yeah.
So,
But
your dog's fully recovered now, isn't he?
Yeah, and appears, you know, appears to be completely normal.
Huh.
We have a mutual friend whose dog had the surgery, and they did not do the recovery process, and that dog is in so much pain because it's a ruined leg, and they don't want to do the surgery again.
This one says.
So, yeah, if it was attached, yeah. And I know I've asked you before, but who did your dog's surgery? Because our Roxy has to have the surgery.
It was Dr. Keast at Grant Creek.
Oh, it's Grant.
He actually has a place here in Porter Circle.
Did he actually do it himself, or did he have to get one of the?
He's the surgeon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he fixed it, you know.
Well, ours had to lose weight before they would do anything, and she's lost 2 pounds. So we need to keep going, but,
So that Martha money, he goes reply, he does have it already allocated. He's got some paving and two projects, and that money's gonna cover our cost of asphalt and oil.
okay. So did we have to do anything with that? So he just talked to Jason on this, and Jason has it taken care of. Just give that to Darren just to scan in.
So she said, well, for the next meeting, in the meeting, he came out and said, I was the worst excuse for the project manager. So
Good,
it was.
that's why we have Norm off the list.
And McKinsey just got home, this is right now.
That's why I retired.
Oh, wait,
But he moved, you know, there was a couple of things.
oh, yeah. She did this right. Just got home.
This is
This is scary.
So we actually went to and said,
no, but I bet they haven't signed it this year. Because that's what they do a lot of times instead, but I would say, oh, I don't know, give me a percent, what is this for? But I don't really understand what this is for.
free.
For who? What is this for?
It's a and then shut it down. So
Now,
then
we gotta see if that was in their budget.
Somebody put that tag on it, put my signature on it. Hey, cowboy counselor,
Yes, Professor.
can you,
Because.
have a claim here, there's no,
Well, is it coming out
nobody
of?
signed it or authorized it, can you look at that?
Are these
Tell me if
accounts
that's
theirs?
from you guys, and okay to pay?
It is.
I had told you, then when we did
I couldn't make heads or
Monthly
tails of it.
services,
Yeah, I'm sorry, nobody signed it. Gloria said it down.
did they get this
Oh,
approved?
Here's what it was. Okay.
In advance?
Serve civil service.
Oh,
I think we need
There's
to
civil
call it
fees
extra.
for trying this if we were here, just a minute. Because you can't go check with the sheriff's. They do it. So should I just sign?
I don't think we have time right now.
yeah, if you're authorized and okay to do that, yeah, you know what it's about, we should pay it, and
Yeah, it's
I'll sign those.
it's a civil service.
Yes,
There it is. Nobody signed here?
No, you can do that.
Okay, that's what
I,
it was, yeah.
when
This
they
one
asked
has
us to do
amount they charge.
credit card update,
Okay.
I said, I'll negotiate with
Thank you
you.
much.
These are
Those are,
being
it's a
assigned,
couple of drug guys that they expedited on.
and we got the update.
You may never see it.
There's another, there's two more there, two that are
Similar
similar.
like that.
No more,
Yeah.
don't ever find
They're
it.
not
So,
so quick,
do
yeah.
we wanna put that one with this one, I'm gonna call Tiffany before I sign it, we're gonna send that one back out.
You said, well, you can't say it.
Are you trying to tell me that your office has been busy lately?
Yeah, just a little.
I mean, put them back there, don't
There
leave
it
that.
is. I can't remember.
It was supposed to be working for us.
Then you, I'll think of it.
Hooters, not us. And then was.
There's also Sharon's Trail, they settled out, but she had 52.
I had authority, I thought.
I bumped into the hall, she was going,
She didn't really with that.
Put your sleeve in your jacket.
So it's true.
So then.
Keeps us out of trouble.
when you were at college, you college,
That's for you.
you didn't play, you started.
No. I actually only started, a few games my junior year and most of my senior year. But yeah, my freshman year, I just watched. Even coming from Superior, I thought, I thought I was something pretty special. No,
You are. Don't ever forget that.
no. Those guys were real football players. They were men when I was a young boy. Oh, I've had many concussions. Unfortunately, concussions weren't even,
Really talked about
weren't really a big deal back when I played. Even as recently as that long ago. I mean, it's sure is a good thing that they are making a big deal out of it, because there's some serious damage being done. And
He said, okay, that's what I wanted.
a lot of unfortunate deaths because can't handle it.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's a sad deal.
how many games
And he said,
college play.
We played, well, my junior year, we won the conference, so we played one win.
Oh,
So we're 9-3 that year, so 12.
So you had good experience out last year.
Yeah. I got a big ring out of it and everything, so, yeah. Big fancy conference championship.
Sure.
Carroll went on to win the national championship that year, though, unfortunately. So, but we beat Carroll in Helena that year.
Really?
So, but that's back when, I don't know, Mike Van Diest was the coach. He's a legend, he won championship after championship after championship. We were one of the only teams to beat him in the 2000s. Well, the early 2000s, late 90s.
It's gonna take.
No, just like.
That was one of my better games ever. I played much well in that game.
So, you know what I would say, we're not taking this either, we don't need this.
It's like,
Just use it as a-
they just give you $4,000. You give it away. I take it.
Marie Hill, is that, was that Marie Hill? I don't know if it's somewhere.
I never know how much. You just can't get it paid. He gives it every.
Looks like they're being ruined.
Because he knows everything.
This stuff is there, so just as
Because of
someone who is to
usually.
And who will be giving this to? This was the Wick Council. Cheryl. Must be. It's amazing, it's already 2 years. It's a great time.
Second half. So he said, so he said, we could. And I said, Justin, all you need to do is write the number. You're the expert. You can. So, like, you know, if it doesn't go in, it's, so he told him, oh, you know, it's but like, he said, don't worry about it, it does, but it's fine. Jesus Christ. And I said, well, you know what's doing this? Because he said, no, it's just pushing me to do it right now, to do it right now. He says, because he's going to New Zealand, it's time, I've said. Jesse goes, oh, it's just all, you're gonna get it, but you for living. As far as $30,000-$40,000. He's not very good at his bid. This thing's been fast. He is supposed to go and pull it there at the shows and he bought 5 tickets. He won 5 tickets. But all he wins is because he buys every lottery ticket there is. And he tells me how lucky he is. So he does have a lot of really nice tickets and stuff. You know, they won this hunt. This hunt, he usually takes kids and they got so Lance is and all he said, all you guys gotta do is pay for the flight. So tell me, 30 minutes, 2 weeks. And all, maybe it's a week. So I said, he said he was
It's 10:06. The meeting will begin, but if you please stand, remove your hat, and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and welcome everyone. Andy, I need to take 1 minute of your time. I just have a few statements to make real quick. They're not open for discussion right now or questions. I just want to clear a few things up as we start our day. First of all, we did forget to put a break in the agenda. So Andy, in your meeting, you are 10:05 to 11:30. We're going to take a 5-minute break at 10:30 or 10:35. And in the afternoon, while there isn't a scheduled break, 1:45 to 2 is free, so we'll be breaking at that time. I want to let you know that we are going to go back to the format. We're going to be pretty stringent on comments. All comments will be taken at public comment time. Public comment time is for your comment. We won't be using that as a debate or a question and answer session. It's comment only. Also, there could be a time, like with Andy's having this meeting, we might need to call on a professional in the audience for some background, but that would be the only deviation for keeping our comments to public comment time. And then it would just be a commissioner asking a professional in the audience for their expertise. It has been brought to my attention that there is some confusion over the minutes. I have to tell you and ask everybody for your leniency with us. The minutes are behind. January is behind. I am doing my best to help Darren, and he's working so very hard, but we're just behind. That's just all there is to it. So January is almost finished, and so we're behind also on February, and those will be finished as quick as we can get to them. So I just ask you to bear with us. They'll be there soon. I also want to address just a little bit about the recordings because there seems to be some confusion. When we do recordings, those are not official minutes. They are only there so that we can do our minutes with them, and then they are deleted. According to law, they are not official minutes. They are not kept. Again, their only purpose is for us to take more accurate minutes. And so then I also want to take a minute to say, please know that if you're in a private meeting with any of us, you do need to state if you are intending to record. Audio recording is not legal unless everyone knows that's happening. So just be aware of that. And I think for right now, that's all I need, just a little bit of that housekeeping. And again, if you have concerns or questions, not questions, but comments, 11:30 public comment time. Okay, thank you. Andy, we're ready.
Okay. Public hearing for 2-lot minor subdivision, Hinden subdivision. So we don't do these all the time, so I just want to give you guys a reminder of how seems like the best way we've been able to run these is I'll give a short intro. The applicant will come up, talk about the project. Then I'll go through the staff report. Mostly I've just been focusing on conditions of approval. Then we would open it up for public comment on the subdivision and take that, right, and that would be part of this. It's part of the public process.
Oh, excuse me, so I do want to clarify, because it's a public hearing, and public hearings are different than public meetings, so thank you.
And then after that, we'll close it for deliberation. And then, all the kind of back and forth will go on. So, just so everybody's aware, there's a staff report, copy of the staff report back there, if anybody wants a copy, and the preliminary plat is up on the wall right there. So, again, this is a 2-lot minor subdivision located off Quartz Loop Road. The subdivider and owners of the property are Kelly and LeBron Hinden of Superior. The agent is Montana Northwest Company. Ken Jenkins is here from Montana Northwest Company. He just wants to get up and give us a quick presentation of it, and then I'll go from there.
Good morning. For the record, Ken Jenkins with Montana Northwest Company. I'd like to start with thanking Andy and Candace for their assistance as we go through this process. It, as Andy said, is a 2-lot minor subdivision. Having been in the business a long time, it is always ironic to me that subdivision regulations oftentimes seem to be written more to an urban standard and written with the idea that somebody's putting in 100 lots. And so when we do a more rural, minor 2-lot subdivision, a lot of times the process that we go through seems to be a little bit awkward. And it is a lot of work for county staff. And in the end, what we get out of it is 2 lots. But I just, saying that, I want to thank Andy and Candace and Mineral County for the effort that it takes to get through this process and get one of these things done. The end result is that you've created a building site where someone can live in your county, and even one at a time. That in this day and age of housing shortages is an admirable thing to do, so thank you. I don't have, as Andy mentioned, the recommendation has been made, that the recommended conditions of approval have been made, and we really have no questions or issues with any of that. And so I'm going to keep it brief, and I am available for any questions that you might have as this process continues today. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. So there's some variance requests with this subdivision, so we always approach those first, right, since the whole approval is kind of based on those variances getting approved. And I'll talk about the gist of the variance. So there's an existing access coming off of Quartz Loop. Get up here and show you guys what's going on. There's the existing access. It drops down, and at that point, kind of stops being a road. It becomes 2 driveways. this is gonna be the proposed single-family residence. There's a existing home here. And the plan is to take the existing home and move it to here and then build a new home here. The driveway access is gonna go through this property and then connect there. And I'll kind of talk about the reasons the design ended up on this. And then there's going to be a kind of a circular driveway here. So it's gonna be nice for emergency responders. There is only one access in, but obviously once they're in there, they're gonna have ability to turn around, fire truck, ambulance, whatever. It's gonna be able to move around the property and get back out. Another unique part of this is there's a mapped regulatory floodplain, and it kind of cuts through the property here. And it's one of those unique floodplains where there's no water body associated with it. Like if you were to physically go out there and look today, right, it wouldn't dawn on you that there's a floodplain there. So in the 60s, it was mapped. And so then when we went through our floodplain mapping project, FEMA has to take that and remap it. So it's been, before it was a black marker on a map, and now we actually have elevations. And this doesn't highlight that well, so let me kind of show you. This is one of those floodplains in the county where I usually discover it by going out to do a site evaluation. And I'm like, oh, let me pull up a floodplain map. And it's like, oh, that's regulatory floodplain right there. So that's current, that's the regulatory floodplain as we sit here today. When our new maps get adopted, it will look like. It will look a little bit more like this, and so here's the property. And so the reason that we landed on this design, right, because there's a property that's here. So typically you would have an access directly off of Quartz, right? And each would have its own access. Well, we want to muck up the floodplain as little as possible, right? And so there's an existing driveway there. And so that was the idea, was that, you know, you would leave this as is, so you're not putting any more infrastructure in the floodplain than necessary. And all the building sites, right, there's a building site here and this building site, so everything's out of the floodplain except the access road into getting into there. And so that's what the variances are associated with, and at the end of the day, that's the non-technical way of explaining like why I would support those variances. It was like, hey, let's have one access into the subdivision. Let's not put any more infrastructure in there, because the idea is that every 100 years, maybe every 10 years, right, that there's going to be a flood coming through there, and things are going to have to be fixed at some point, right? Like a road would have to be fixed. I'll kind of show you how we have that. So that's kind of labeled here. There's the floodplain elevations, floodplain boundary, essentially following the contour there. And so everything's high and dry, essentially. Drain fields all meet the setbacks. So I'll kind of get into the variances. And like Ken said, right, like subdivision regulations are usually they're very broad, right? And so anytime you have, you know, every property, every piece of ground is unique, right? And so when you're trying to do something, you usually have to look at the subdivision regulation and be like, oh, this regulation would preclude that, even though it doesn't really fit the property. So you try to find what variances are going to cover this. And so the first variance is access to the subject property proposed for subdivision is provided by Cedar Iron Mountain Road, we call it Quartz Loop Road, a county maintained road running through the west portion of the property, an existing gravel private driveway, 14 foot in width, and roughly 1,100 feet in length, provides access to the current residences located near the east boundary of the project. The subdivision proposes that the portion of the existing driveway be shared by both the proposed lots for approximately 500 feet. So, and when we talk about driveways, anytime you have two properties that are accessed, it's a road. It's just, that's what it is. So you'll hear us say driveway, but it is a road for a certain portion, right? It'll have a road sign that says whatever the road name is, and then at the point it breaks off, then it becomes driveways at that point. So Mineral County subdivision regulations require the driveway must not provide access to more than one lot. So that was the best way to kind of talk about this variance. It's still going to be a road, but it's not a road in the sense that we're going to build it to county standards, right? We're just proposing that we're using
It's a driveway road.
It's a driveway. We're going to use what's existing there.
Right.
So anytime we have a variance, we have to meet 4 criteria. And so the grant of the variance will not be detrimental to public health, safety, or general welfare, or injurious to other adjoining properties. The route of the proposed shared driveway provides access to the proposed lots with little impact to slopes and steeper terrain, and offers the safest, least grade along the road. The width of the shared area is sufficient to allow vehicles to pass, and sight distances are good. Either the shared aspect nor the length would be detrimental to the public health, safety, or general welfare, or injurious to other adjoining properties. Due to the physical surrounding shape or topographical conditions of the property involved, strict compliance with the regulations will impose an undue hardship on the owner. Undue hardship is not personal financial hardships or any hardship that is self-imposed. Considering the noted floodplain and the slopes that exist in the subject property, the proposed access to the building site is proposed. Strict compliance with the length of the driveway is not possible if the building sites are being accessed. A separate driveway of less than 500 feet would require additional county road approach. So obviously, we want to, for subdivisions, we want to have the fewest approaches possible, just so you don't have traffic in multiple spots coming out onto a road. A separate driveway of less than 500 feet would require additional county approach permit, floodplain permit for the driveway, and the proposed home would likely need to be located on steep slopes or in the floodplain. The variance will not cause a substantial increase in public costs. The grant of the variance would not cause any increase in public cost. And then number 4 always talks about zoning. This is unzoned. One of the conditions of the variance approval would be a circular driveway is being proposed as part of the subdivision. Construction of the driveway should be completed before final plat approval. Variance number 2. The owners requested to vary from Table 1, Mineral County Subdivision Road Design Standards, minimum roadway driving widths of the subdivision regulations. The owners would like to continue to use the existing access road, which is a 14-foot minimum roadway. Again, condition 1, the existing 14-foot wide gravel road is well compacted and the grade is relatively flat with adequate sight distance. An approach permit has been issued for the existing road intersection with Thompson Courts Loop. A road maintenance agreement is proposed to ensure the road is maintained and accessible. So as part of the subdivision, they'll have a road maintenance agreement between the two properties to maintain that road. The roadway is wide enough to allow for access to the two proposed residences, and without further subdivision of the lots, 14-foot wide surface is adequate for use. Condition number 2, the shape of the property involved with the proposed 30-foot wide easement would cause an undue hardship on the owner with strict compliance with the regulation. Number 3, the use of an existing 14-foot wide roadway versus 20-foot wide roadway. So typically, our minimum is 20 feet for subdivisions. Would not cause any increase in public cost. Again, the property is unzoned. A condition of the variance approval would be a statement shown on the plat stating the property will not be further subdivided. Obviously, you wouldn't want to have a variance for a road if the thought was that it would be further subdivided down the right way. If the thought was it was going to be further subdivided, you would say no, it's got to have either a 50-foot right-of-way and a 30-foot driving surface. Variance number 3 speaks to that. The owner's requesting a variance from 6.8. Requires a 50 or 60-foot as minimum right-of-way width for the subdivision road. The applicants are proposing a 30-foot wide access easement for the existing driveway. I'm also recommending approval for this variance. Condition 1, the 30-foot easement for the proposed use of a 2-lot subdivision is sufficient of granting the variance. Will not be detrimental to public health, safety, or general welfare, or injurious to other adjoining properties. The lot would be accessed by a 30-foot access and utility easement. Proposal for a 14-foot driving surface would allow the 30-foot to adequately allow for road construction, maintenance, and snow removal. So, any maintenance, any further construction they would need to do on it, that 30-foot is adequate to maintain that 14-foot driving surface. The reduction of the required easement by 20 feet would not cause a substantial increase in total costs, and again, it's unzoned. So, when you have variances, you kind of have 2 public hearings in one. So, at this point, we would vote on those 3 variances with conditions. If you guys have any questions specific to that?
Andy, what I recall, and I'll need help through this, but I do recall that you always make that recommendation. Is it, with you reading these variances, is that your recommendation, and that they are approved?
Yeah, so in my staff report, I'm recommending that those 3 variances are approved.
I'll move that we approve those 3 variances as Andy has repeated and stated and on his recommendation
With conditions?
with your conditions.
I would second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 No opposition, motion carried.
So then we'll get into the, in the past, I've kind of gone through the seven criteria, and people's eyes kind of roll in the back of their head, so I feel like let's just get right down to the meat of the conditions, and we'll talk about those.
Do you want to let me know then when it would be a good time to take a break based on your presentation?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm recommending 24 conditions with the subdivision. Some of these are boilerplate with every subdivision, and then some will be unique, and I'll kind of stop on the unique ones. The recommended conditions are the final plat and associated documents and plans, as well as all related improvements for the subdivision shall meet all applicable design standards and improvements and other requirements of the administrative rules of Montana and Mineral County subdivision regulations. That's boilerplate, that's number one on all our subdivisions. Because both these lots are under 20 acres, they'll be reviewed and approved by DEQ. So that's what number two is. The proposal shall be reviewed by the Mineral County Environmental and Planning Department for water supply, sewage disposal facilities, stormwater runoff, and solid waste, with final review by the Department of Environmental Quality. Just a reminder, we are contracted with the state to review these. And so, state rules, but it's a separate program that gets submitted to us. We review it. State ultimately approves it. A road maintenance agreement between the users of a 30-foot access easement and 14-foot road that includes a maintenance plan for the shared road shall be recorded with the final plat. The road maintenance agreement must include future maintenance costs to be shared equitably and provide for private enforcement. The maintenance plan must include dust abatement. The agreement will be filed with the final plat. And so this one deals with really the only improvements that we would require as part of the subdivision. Prior to the final plat approval, approach permit shall be obtained from the Mineral County Environmental Health and Planning for the new approach to Quartz Loop Road. Prior to final plat approval, the approach will be installed in accordance with Mineral County requirements and as required by the approach permits. The road intersection with paved county maintained Quartz Loop Road shall have a paved approach for a minimum length of 20 feet. The approaches shall slope away from the existing Quartz Loop Road to prevent stormwater runoff flowing on the roadway. The approved approach permit issued by Mineral County shall be filed with the final plat. And so my computer's decided to take power away from me. Let me see. I was just going to show you a picture of the approach.
I'll turn the heater off, see if that helps.
It's not going to do it, which is okay. But it's basically, this is the approach. Right here. And so we're just saying that you have to put in a subdivision approach. So anytime that you have an approach onto a paved road, we have standards for that. So that portion right there, that would be the only real improvement they would be required to do, and also have this circular driveway constructed. Road signs of the size, shape, and height as approved by Mineral County shall be placed at the intersection of Quartz Loop Road and the new approach to the subdivision. And typically, we order those, and people just buy them through us, and then they install them, we make sure they got installed, and then away we go. The legal and physical access location for proposed lots 1A and 1B from Quartz Loop Road shall be denoted on the face of the plat. So I added it, as I often do, right, when I get ready to present these, something comes to mind. And so what we typically do in this situation is we propose a 1 foot wide no access zone that'll show on the final plat. So we'll have them basically that just denote on the face of the plat that everywhere that approach isn't, you just have this 1 foot wide no access strip. It's like, so that's your access. And since the property's not going to be further subdivided, and the variances are based on this getting approved as is, that would stop anybody from buying this lot 10 years from now and then like, I'm putting an approach down there now, right? So then that would all kind of unwind all this. So the current and future lot owners shall waive the rights to participate in future improvements to Quartz Loop in proportion to their impact on the section of the road utilized. And this is kind of boilerplate we do for every subdivision. We say that if we're going to have if at any point we have an RSID, a rural special improvement district for roads, bridges, whatever, that anybody accepting a deed waives the right to protest. And so if we ever, essentially, it's a way to tax the property in relation to the use of the road if you were to ever have an RSID out there. There isn't currently an RSID out there. The final plat shall include the graphic description of the 100-year floodplain for any areas of the property within the 100-year floodplain. The final plat shall also include language clarifying that no buildings or other construction shall occur in the designated 100-year floodplain without additional review and approval by Mineral County. And so that is depicted here. That's what all of it says. The floodplain goes through there. Declarations of a maintenance agreement or some other form of maintenance plan for the shared approach of the road shall be recorded with the final plat. The shared maintenance agreement or plan shall require future maintenance costs to be shared equitably and provide for private enforcement. The final plat shall include specific standards for driveways, require a minimum gravel width of 12 feet, maximum slopes of 12%, maximum driving lengths of 500 feet, and driveways must provide adequate turnaround for emergency vehicles. The language shall state that lots accessed by substandard driveways may jeopardize adequate emergency response measures. So they're covering that through having that looped area back there. All new electrical utilities must be placed underground to reduce the potential for ignitions in forested areas wherever practical. Right to farm language shall be placed on the face of the plat notifying prospective lot owners of surrounding agricultural practices which can be offensive to residents of the subdivision. The language shall state lot owners waive any right to protest offensive activities associated with normal agricultural practices. An open range statement shall be placed on the face of the final plat. The statement shall inform prospective lot owners that they will be responsible for any fencing to keep livestock out of their lots and that the surrounding area is open range. That's just standard for Montana. It's open range. You got to fence out. Gate posts or other fencing shall not be constructed in road easements without prior approval of every body. All taxes assessed must be paid in full prior to filing the final plat. The Mineral County Treasurer will sign the final plat verifying the taxes and special assessments assessed and levied on the land have been paid. Title report shall be submitted with the final plat application in accordance with section 2.2.2.1 of subdivision regulations. If any of the property has a mortgage lien, a consent to platform must be signed by the holders of the said mortgage or lien and a consent to platform filed with the final plat. The Mineral County Environmental Health Department reserves the right to have the county attorney review and approve the title report prior to final plat. A title report dated no less than 30 days prior to the date of the submittal shall be filed with the final plat. The subdivider shall pay all applicable adopted fees for final plat review according to these fees in place at the time of submittal. Currently adopted final plat application review fees are $435 plus $55 per lot, and then any other fees associated with it. In lieu of rural addressing plan for the subdivision, the final plat shall include language to inform any future lot owners that an address must be assigned by the Mineral County Environmental Health and Planning Department. The subdivider shall provide a weed management plan developed in accordance with Section 7 of the subdivision regulations and approved by the Mineral County Weed Board to the Mineral County Environmental Health and Planning Department prior to final plat. The approved signed plan shall be filed with the final plat. Conditions that are met through language on the face of the plat or other documents filed with the final plat shall provide Mineral County the ability to enforce the terms of the language and require governing body review and approval prior to modifications or repeal of the terms. The language shall indicate the following: these covenants may not be repealed or amended without prior written consent of the Board of Mineral County Commissioners, and the Board of Mineral County Commissioners is a party to the restricted covenants and may enforce its terms. And number 24, this is always standard that this preliminary plat is valid for 3 years. And so within 3 years, either the subdivision plat's filed with these conditions, or the subdivider may come back and say, hey, can we get an extension within that 3 years? The preliminary approval is for the creation of 2 lots to be used for single-family residential, and as outlined in the application, all future uses must comply with these conditions, the approved plans, and sanitation-related approvals. Modifications shall require approval on their own terms. So that's it for my presentation. So if you guys don't have any questions for me, I would open it up for public comment on the subdivision.
I don't have questions.
I don't either. Seems straightforward enough.
You know, the only thing I would like to ask in the future, and I don't know about you guys, maybe you've already done this, but I would love to go out and see these properties before your presentation so that I have a really good grasp of what it looks like. I don't know if anyone's ever done that or interested, but,
No, great idea.
okay, great.
Sure.
If somebody would
Yeah.
just keep that in mind for your next one, I want to go see it.
No, I'll let you know.
Okay,
I'll let you know when we, there's a point when we've deemed the submittal sufficient for your review.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I start writing my staff report, and I can just let you guys know, hey, this is now sufficient. It's gonna come up within 35 days. Go take a look.
great.
So do we have public comment on that now?
Yes, because this is a public hearing, and so he is opening it,
Can I just ask a
right?
quick
You
question?
did open it, right?
If I understood, Andy, you said that there was a 20-foot paved approach onto the county road, is that correct? I thought I heard you say, or is there a paved approach? Does it have to be paved for a certain distance onto the county road?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that, and you mentioned a county road permit, driveway permit, is that applicable to all driveway permits or just subdivision permits?
So the road department has their approach where people come in, they're like, I need an approach for my property. There's not one existing. They have a process. I'm not super familiar with it, but that's their process. If it's a subdivision road, then it goes under our purview, and it's based on our subdivision regulations. Like here's the design standards. Here's what it has to be. If it's a paved approach, it has to be paved for 20 feet, and the standards are listed out in those regulations. And then, there's usually some back and forth with the applicant to get it right, and then once it's in, I just contact Jason. I go, Jason, are you okay with that approach?
Sure.
And he gives either thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah. The reason I asked that question is some years back when we had a different planner here, it was required that all driveway permits be paved. Now, I'm not sure if that's still applicable now. So the second part of my question is, are those, once it's paved, does that become a taxable item? Because paved driveways are a taxable item. So I don't know if I need an answer on that right now, but it's something to certainly think about for the commissioners, because we have that tax review coming up next Friday. So it might be something to think about. So, thank you.
Yeah.
That's yours.
Hi, this is Mr. Conlon. 3 easy things. One is this. Item 12 or 13 is the 1-foot no access strip. Having seen a lot of those over the years, and I didn't see any staff report before this morning, but it's number 7. The only thing to add to that would be the words amendable only with commissioner approval. Because what happens to those in 20 years or 10 years, something changes, people need access. Who controls it? How do we amend it? Can the owners of the land around it amend it or not? So if you just add the words amendable with commissioner approval, or only amendable with commissioner approval, that addresses Andy's concerns and it gives us a way to handle it later. Because there's a bunch of them around the western part of Montana that have really caused some grief. So that's first. Secondly, the map you had up earlier, Andy, is Sear Mountain Road on that map. The one you had up a little bit ago that shows the plat. Just for the record, where is the Sear Road on that? Sear Mountain.
That's right here.
Okay. Just for the record, that's a topic of discussion later today, but I just thought you should see where that road is relative to the subdivision. And the last comment is simply this: Mr. Jenkins and I go back a long way, and I appreciate his comments a lot. What he wouldn't want to admit is when he started doing this with me, none of his hair was gray, and I had hair. And that's a long time ago. The kid has always been more than first order, and I appreciate your comments a lot, and maybe we've both been doing this too long. But thank you, it's really good to see you too, Ken. Thank you, those are simple changes, and Andy, great staff report for the variances and stuff too, because that's defendable why we did them. That's the record we need to build, and I appreciate that, having defended a lot of counties who didn't do that. This is really good. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Andy, so will you be taking his suggestion and adding that?
Yeah, so I threw that in there.
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah, everybody's,
Okay,
and I mean, I don't like to type in front of people, so I'll make it clear, you know, I'll.
oh, sure, I
dot
just wondered it,
everything,
yep,
yeah.
okay.
But everybody gets the gist of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it can be changed, that if somebody wants to make a change, they can come to the commissioners and make that change. And if there's no more public comment, we'll move on to, I don't know if you guys want to take a break or just move to deliberation to move to approve it.
I think if we're close to the end, we can probably make that through before the break, if we're close. Okay? So do we have a motion for approving, or for taking Andy's recommendation? And what would the rest of that be, Andy?
Yeah, just to approve the Hendon minor subdivision with conditions as stated.
Madam Chair, I just had one question for Mr. Jenkins. Are you fine with our conditions and our everything thus far? The variance and the conditions are
Yes.
satisfactory? No
Yes.
suggestions or changes on your part required?
No, I think these are well thought out conditions and, yeah.
Very good. Okay. With that, I move that we approve the plat as proposed and the recommendations to move forward.
I would second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposition, motion carried.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Anything else for us, or shall we take our break now until we have, what's our next one? Public comment? Yeah? Okay. Thank you, Andy. Oh, this is one of those situations I was talking to Dwayne about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you. I think we did some good the other day.
Oh, I think so too, yeah, he seems happy, but I don't think they get some. So this is what I.
Oh, yeah. No, we get that letter, we're all right.
Yeah,
Wait a second.
yeah, I seen the email, I seen the email back.
I don't know what that is.
It'll be interesting to see what.
Hey, what'd you find out?
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you. I don't want to.
You got the email, but I'll run it down.
And Roman will support that. He's so good at it, I'm surprised he didn't do it. Because every year he puts it in.
There's that low spot in front of the
Because he
Steel
does a
River
very thorough
Motel
job.
on the freeway. They should be for that.
It feels really good.
Then then you still got, as you go towards St. Ramos, your freeway gets higher and higher.
I'm calling right now.
Then you're right back to the level he's talking about there.
I mean, it almost needed to be figured out at the time to interstate. Once you put all that infrastructure in.
And you know, well, they were there, the Corps was there, and I wanna say 73, because I was still in high school. My dad had an E7 cat working in the river right there by, the short piece at right in front of the four-way stop, or whichever way when you're coming off the freeway from Superior Industries. That levee runs straight and runs along the interstate there for a ways, and he worked on that piece. We got a lot of rock in there. That river was running high. And then if the Clark Brook is the cause, or gonna be the cause of that flood, they need to get an excavator in there and dig that stuff out and make that trench deeper so that it can pass through that railroad, but that railroad isn't gonna do anything for 100 years as far as that bridge moving and widening height.
Hi.
I knew, as I read it,
Yeah, you did.
as I read it, I could feel you.
I'm sure you could, and I'm sure you could hear Alicia going, hey, Jen's about to burst. One silly question. Is Thompson Court Sleep Road, is that like a stem off of Court Sleep, or is that just a type?
No typo.
Okay. That's financial. Perfect. Alrighty, we'll boop your snoot later over number 18. Alright, we'll see you kids later for the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
I'm glad to get us the non-board because it's tricky.
So he said there was 24.
Oh, I added one. The last one. Yeah, the one about the no access strip. So as typically happens, I print your guys' off, and then I'm like, looking at old projects, looking at this, and like, oh yeah, that's right, we do that as well. So yeah, that's why I added one.
Oh, God.
So, Tuesday.
Well, that was
Yeah, we watched the video.
Then Jill from our tennis office, she emailed and she's like, hey, we want to keep Montana roads.
I have got a printer at my house. The factory, one of the expensive ones, no granted. But it has worked good for, I don't know how long. I think I can get the thing to print. I can get it to hook up. It says it's hooked up. And when you go to print, it's blank. And it'll empty it. My daughter is there now. And I think my daughter was the one that broke it the last time. So maybe she can fix it. I wondered if it had something to do with our poor service.
you got bad service there?
It ain't nothing fantastic. It ain't bad.
Blackfoot.
And we're the next to the last in line on that. So there isn't. Well, I don't think that they run clear out there to where Cleveland built that place. Clear out at the end of Millbridge.
Yeah.
I don't think they do. They may.
Literally. So what are the chances you got Lincoln's daughter upstairs doing? And you've got me over here for all of these.
every time I'm in this room,
Isn't that a ticket?
Oh, I do have one thing for you. I might be the guy to talk to about fluffy cows.
I guess we could throw away all these books.
Really?
No. You don't want to
Yeah.
I do have some more of these, I'm gonna bring down one of these days.
The problems are troubles. The problems are structure, and like structure, it's not. But if you want to like the smaller,
Yeah, no, our boss, Michelle, she wants to get, I have one for her, but I can. You're okay.
yeah. We're gonna get back to, when you sign 1351, tell her she's doing this good.
If I can get that sheet done for 2 or 3, I told her,
And she can raise it up.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
I know, it's hard, she's in town, but it's hard.
Yeah, that's her card, yeah. She basically, I think that she's
They're giant.
tossing an idea of tiny in the house, so.
It is hard.
They're giant.
Timelines, if you don't care,
Yeah, she loves it when she's fully obsessed.
think she loves it.
Mr. Dibbles will literally that you have. Yeah.
I know.
So what we
and
do is
it's
the
been
gal
like-
who bases the cows with her, so she's sort of rotated
You
company.
need to make sure.
So she's going in.
Still, there's no reason to be
She's
pushing
down
that.
for 6 months.
I was,
We decided, I
I was-
any
I
time
tried
we
to-
get rid of draft and
We,
But it's good.
we have a lot of.
I need to start today, buddy.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I will definitely let her know she's on my office today,
I'll definitely let her.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Just Google.
These especially minis, there's a rescue out of Oregon, they just got killed hens, rehab them, and Creswell, Oregon is.
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
I don't
Who would have
remember.
thought?
There's an organization called Peace for Ponies. They're nationwide, but they've gone to Creswell, Oregon, now rehabbing and pony.
So Google Wally Farming Cows.
Okay,
Just Google Wally Farming.
all right.
Okay.
I love cats, but I suddenly found a love for donkeys and those big furry ears. Oh, that feels like a cat for me. It's like, I can just pet a donkey every day and it just happens.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, Michelle's funny, to herself and Joshua, they want the Highlander, they want the donkey.
I'll take this in there.
Those are their family.
I got that. And Karen, you guys didn't know what it was.
Yeah, she's an empty nester. And
Mine was a parrot.
Was it a parrot?
It was a parrot.
You remember the donkeys?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, this is Andy Short, Mineral County Environmental Health. I'm just getting some troubleshooting on my Wi-Fi.
Sometimes even better. Peace for Ponies on Facebook is amazing for getting our word out about these rescues.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah, we pulled it up, and Michelle's fun stuff.
Their main place is out of Massachusetts, but the Creswell, Oregon, is like, wow, yay, West Coast.
Yeah.
Does it have remote? Well, it's not so much that.
Hey Aaron, this is Andy Short, Mineral County Environmental Health. I'm having some trouble with
Yeah, making
Wi-Fi.
sure that they're not exposed to shock. Yeah.
They're not horses, they're horses. Exactly.
Hey Josh, this is Andy Short. How are you? So, I'm in the commissioner's room with my laptop and doing a presentation. And I'm connected to the internet. I can see all my, I can connect with the widgets or so everything's saved. It'll just drop.
It's a simple thing.
I can't get back on.
Guess what? They were talking about these guys.
Right. Yeah,
big multinational, multi-state corporations totally bottom line. People that work there are expected
It's
to
amazing.
produce the income, almost like large law firms.
Right, very much. Great. In fact, there's a company in the water compact, they have 30% of the leadership. $204,000.
Because we better get going, we promised to have it good for
You
you.
got it, but anyway.
Yeah, we'll be back for
Yeah.
Sharon.
Oh, good.
And the
Okay.
windows.
More than happy.
Stick around. I know.
Well, the thing is,
Appreciate
it's clean
the
work,
referrals.
it's good. Well, yeah, you guys did great.
All right, have a good one.
Tim's good, he's living up at Travelgate, the reservoir.
So your day
Well,
off.
is he?
Did you sell out at the poker? Or did you just have a cabin?
He just had the cabin for so like he sold the place up on the lake, and he had it
Okay.
that way for years. They sold the house in Folsom, but he bought a place and built the house up on the reservoir.
Yeah. There's fish there. Of course he's out.
That's what he's doing, you got it exactly. Lots of fish, lots of fish.
I have one question that I didn't want to bring up about the approach.
Yeah, do you wanna chat on the phone later?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't remember, I just said something. Yeah.
We'll talk. Send it again. Vince Blair, 2002.
You can't do that.
You're not supposed to do that. Right?
They can't do that.
That's my belief. I go ask them. People are observing. I do see that.
I know, but what did he do? He said, oh, they shouldn't.
Well, that's what he's going to find out. I said, because what they're doing is trying to drive.
I usually connect to private. It says no internet but secured. Yeah. You don't happen to know the network yet. Public, space between public and wireless. And then wireless is lowercase.
Are they gonna allow, just so they know,
Yes.
are you allowing what? So like.
No space.
For the actual.
Yes, at 11:30.
11:30, okay, well, I'll have it, you got it. Is it even a public hearing?
Yeah, do it at the same time. It's just a regular agenda item, which I think we should and should have done things differently.
What's that?
We're all having snacks.
You first, show us how you do it.
I pretend.
So I recommend this. And then we read off. What's this? I'm gonna read off. Exactly when they first install it.
It says, no internet but secure. There is an Ethernet cable sitting here.
Oh, those are yours? That you did? Should I give you the rest? We have these over here, I have to do something with.
Soon as
I should have given these to.
So, should I-
But maybe there'll be more. Let's see. No, not those.
Years ago, we were out the last 2 months, kids are like, that's scary.
So, Mackenzie just said something to the effect right here, it looks fine.
Yeah, okay, good. So we do wanna file that for the job description, so that we, yeah,
Okay.
yep. We can approve that at the.
Just file it with that job description, right? Right, or,
Well, you know what I'd like to do, there is a folder of job descriptions, and while it is behind, we'll put this and the job description with the, we're all gonna
In the job
initial,
description.
we're gonna initial the job description, and then you'll put it in that folder.
okay,
Yep, with the email.
okay.
And I can come show you later where that folder is.
I think I found it, there's not much in there,
Right?
but
I know. Well, I think.
I've been trying to kind of move some stuff into it, like actually I just moved a couple into there, like the treasure, ones I've dealt with, like the
Yeah.
tax clerk.
Oh, but I do have a folder in the filing cabinet of job descriptions with the job ad attached to it. So I'll show that to you.
That one there. would be
Yeah,
handy.
so the job description that has to be approved by the commissioners, which we didn't always do. It says job descriptions, and I think that's where you'll see initial job description.
Oh, in the folder, right? Is
In
that
the
what you said?
binder, that's the
Yeah.
binder.
In your binder,
Yes.
yeah, that's, okay,
And then I do have a folder in the black filing cabinet,
okay.
the long one.
Oh, the one against the door by the,
Yeah,
okay,
that I keep things in, but this I want in the binder.
okay.
Restart.
I do, I'm looking for something.
I don't know what you're doing.
What has to go back up to Casey and Kellan because it didn't get signed.
Turn my phone into a hotspot.
These. Oh, I'll call Tim.
That is.
Trying to draw Dwayne, I see it was laying over by your computer.
Yeah, yeah, because I've had problems with it before, so I,
Okay. Is that my copy?
I go over here. And it's working great, and then like in the middle of the presentation, I take pictures of
I mean, just because you have to.
and then it starts getting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Why am I looking at that?
Hello, Javier, this is Dawn. Is Tiffany available? Okay, thank you. So I can't get an answer to what this is either, because she doesn't come in until 7. Dwayne, what do you want to do about this since we don't know? Do you want to hold this for a moment? Okay, I mean, since we don't know what this is. And this one, and do we have a sheet for disallowed claims? Yeah, but when we do our claim sheet, we need to know that we've taken those out. We can ask for it.
I don't know how to run it anyway.
Yeah. 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Why, yeah, it is. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I'm trying, I was singing this morning.
Were you?
People are like, yeah, wow, you sound good. I'm like, yeah, I love to sing. I actually do. I don't think I sound that great, John, but.
Oh,
Yeah. Gordon's gonna come in and give me lessons on how to cheer.
I mean, one of these days you'll just see me walking down the hall, just belting something out.
Good morning.
It's more than that's still
It's
good.
loud. I can just sing as loud as
I
I
usually
can.
say it all day long.
Please don't like Mariah Carey.
No. I like Houses of Rising Sun. The Animals is one of my favorite songs.
Okay, I'll bring those tomorrow. Well,
I
I
sing in
keep
public.
getting rid of the salmon patties.
Lately I've been on a kind of Christmas.
They're still.
How much are they?
Yeah.
The Lincoln regular 25. You want more than 2?
Good old.
So I have a question for you guys. Did you get a chance to look
Yeah.
at what I sent out about the, multi-county
Should I,
grant?
Is that what came today?
Should I go
No,
back
it
to
came
it?
yesterday.
That 521, right? Did you send it?
Yeah.
521 or
Yeah.
501 or something like that? You sent it? Did you send it to me or did you send it to them?
501.
Game last night.
Yeah, I got something yesterday after I went home.
It might have been 501.
Really?
Superior.
Regis won yesterday morning.
Yeah.
From Ashby, so they had to play Superior
Oh, really?
5 o'clock last night. I'll find out. Somebody will know.
Oh, okay.
So
Can you sign
also,
this?
you guys
Since I didn't go to the bank yet.
people on the compensation board,
Well, there was an ad in the paper for,
applications,
yep,
when did it close?
I don't know. I have to come in. Yeah.
I was on it before, and I don't know if my name fell off. I don't think this is,
It must have.
because it wasn't on there. Oh, I want to be on there for this.
Oh, you mean you were on the previous?
I filled, I was on the previous list, and I filled
It
in
is.
one
Sounds
time,
like it.
and that was 3 years ago. But I want to be on it again.
Yeah.
So just go let them know.
You'll have to fill out, I think you have to fill out the board applications. Yeah,
Kelly's
and then
office.
I don't know how you proceed when choosing your board. If nobody falls off, do we keep it the same?
I heard there's 3, I said, Lori said there was 3 vacancies.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Could
we
be.
need people, I'm sure, so, yeah, so.
Just go up there and do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just definitely want to be on that
If
list.
we have to, we'll just cut it. I'm kidding.
I'll be the first to go.
No, we need volunteers, thank you.
Then I'll just come in and talk about it anyway.
There you go. No, thank you, Diane, I think we'll need you.
Okay, thanks.
okay, we are not accepting this because it is. So, I don't know. Now, this one is signed, but did you get
A letter.
And Tiffany sent it back to us. Her stuff is there.
I did. They should have it
Is
in there.
this a typical?
It's
Their
a,
packet.
yeah, sealed
Is
letter.
that typical?
Okay.
Yeah.
We hardly ever get it from them at all.
Oh,
It could
you
be
got
an
it in
annual thing
person.
for me to do
Oh, nice.
managed
Can you change the word
software.
from Cedar Creek to Clark Creek?
I didn't even open his meeting.
I'm just looking behind you.
None of my business.
It's got there's a blue spot, there's an E23, HDMI, VGA.
Yeah.
There's an E23.
Iron Mountain Road.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We'll try that.
They do have it, but I don't know what it says because I didn't open the meeting. Because I don't think that's my place.
Well, in that case, probably you're right. But I included you on the email I sent yesterday, and that was about the multi-county thing.
Yeah, Dwayne and I both feel like that.
We'll
You
talk
know,
about it
I'm sure
later.
I saw
We'll
it.
talk about it. It's too much going on.
So we're still collecting things that we are not accepting.
I remember seeing the two that I printed off, I gave to them today. They said to review it as soon as possible. So I seen that this morning, first thing this morning, so I printed that off and sent it to them.
And that's really not gonna come up today, I just need to make sure
I
that
was
we have.
checking, we got 15 minutes here, let's run down.
I'll take all of them.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, we need them to do doing that.
Thank you. I need to say more.
Is that your favorite beer?
Mark, I didn't get a chance to say hello.
I was only this, I didn't drink, well, maybe that I was,
You were lately. I got to think about it. You always go past, so next time. Be prepared.
sometimes they talk a while.
But no, that's what I was saying. I've been calling my grandson Romeo. I've been calling Romeo all the way here.
Well, no, I do that. One year long.
Feeling pretty good.
We're down in
No.
Got a lot of complaints for you, Brady. This won't be pretty. No, I'm just joking. Just gotta let you know what I'm doing.
Okay. Thank you. That come back all right? That's it.
Yeah, I would thank Aaron for that, yeah.
Of course. So I'm right, I'm in the middle of
When will you know?
commission room and so
Take longer, 9 months.
You got to pay money.
We will have to put in 5%. You know, which means about $6,000 per department. It was that's not too bad. No,
$100,000.
$300,000, which everybody I know,
And I made him
So DIS is trying to fix this. So he's on it. So I'm just
Put a sticker on there, do not touch. Isn't it amazing, they can do that every time? I've only had them do it once. On mine. Just watch that. Who's doing that?
so handy. Because you can call them like right in the middle of the problem. Because there's no way to explain it.
My wife had it, the whole gist of somebody on the other side of the door. Mr. Commissioner, thing that you do, you know, with your.
Can we, Frank's letter, you know, the grant letter? Can I just print that off and have you sign it, and then I can put it in the mail for you?
Oh, I thought I did sign it.
It wasn't signed, that's what I got.
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, when I get back today. Okay, sounds good. Yes. Thank you. Are you staying for the public comment or?
I don't like to be behind them when they're talking. I guess I like whenever I write. Then I'd say yes. You can hear too.
We'll take that blame on that one.
Yeah, it's just, it's
That's my
important,
fault.
it's important for the public access.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, Julie.
It's okay.
Just instinct.
I know, I do,
Do it all the time. I don't think you
What's wrong?
I can hit him, I can't hit you.
Let's see. Anybody else?
I have to sign it. Decide where to
I didn't expect it. I didn't pay the bills, really.
Excellent. Thank you. Look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to Monday being a holiday. I've never worked a job where I've gotten President's Day
Yeah. Clayton works for Boeing and they don't give it, holidays off. You pay. Yeah, he works for Boeing.
Engineer or something?
He bends wings. He's a foreman. But, they don't give holidays off. You get them at the end of the year and they have a 2-week stand down. So that's how you get pay while you're off for 2 weeks without using a holiday, using your vacation.
That's cool, Boeing. Wow. That's impressive.
It's not. Because you end up working on things like 4th of July and New Year's.
Yeah,
things
you
like
get it
that.
off at the end of the year instead of then. Yeah, that was cool.
And some people would rather work during Christmas and not have 2 weeks off. Some people actually like work.
I like having days off.
He doesn't admit it readily, but I know there's this work. The
I
routine.
like work too, though.
I like the routine.
I do like days off as well.
Me too, especially Fridays.
Yes, yes. No, that 30% actually is your above the plan part. We are taking out that part, but they're still going to talk about something special. They have to be on schedule. They have to be on that. No, I didn't check. We'd already done, you guys had already signed it. Me too. Dave's still playing?
He is.
I have to tell you. Dave's
That's my
She can't take her herself, but I want her to have my dog.
I'm Lori. I texted you last night. Oh, okay, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm glad I'm meeting people that get it, get why I'm doing it.
It's been going on for so many
I
years.
believe you too, that have been here for over 10 years, correct?
Great purpose for home.
Do you see my name anywhere? I could be the mother center before the meeting starts.
I've been watching this shit on for 26 years. But I think Unit just told me that if they reduce something, they're gonna just charge for,
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, sir. Holy cow. People coming. There was one in my office. I can't tell you if it's still there or not.
I wouldn't.
I don't even want this job.
Oh, here he is. Got it.
No, but I think most people are very thankful. Well, nobody would know what's going on. Most people would. I take care of my husband. It's hard for me to know.
That's
It's 11:30 and public comment will begin. If everybody could take a seat, please, in the back. Diana? Everyone. Excuse me, the meeting has started. Thank you. This is public comment. Welcome, everyone. I want to just remind everyone that public comment is about comment, and it is not about debate or question and answer. So as you come to the podium, please just identify yourself and state your comments. Thank you.
Oh, I'm still Marla Schwaderer. I have been aware that there is some hiccup going on in the structure, and I'd like to address it with an example, and maybe it becomes evident. Currently, let's say there's a huge crisis, and you guys have to hit every property tax owner with a $10,000 one-time bill. You would come in here, it's on the agenda, it's an action item. You'd move to do it, you'd second it, you'd talk, and you vote. That is not the law. I'd like you to go back to the open meeting law. It is, you make the motion, you second it, you guys talk about what you know and whatever, and then it's open to public comment. You do not make an action that affects my life, my pocketbook, our community, without me being able to address only that agenda item before the vote. That is Montana open meeting law. I would like this fixed. I'd like the push and pull debate and headache to be done. Please fix this. And I want to address something else. You used to do it all the time. You guys would be discussing stuff and you'd see John Doe over there that you knew was probably there for that item. You'd go, John, you got any ideas on this? You had it very informally. It's just part of what you did. If anybody was there with a comment, they knew you would accept the comment before the vote. It just wasn't structured. Now that we're living in a hyper-inflated structure form, it needs to be put in the structure. Public comment happens before a vote that affects us. You are not dictators. You are our representatives. And as our representatives, if you don't know that I have 3 ideas to get rid of my $10,000 bill, if you don't know that, you're voting and giving me a $10,000 bill that could have been prevented. So that is the structure of open meeting law. That is the way the structure is in the document that explains it. Any other counsel you have been given is wrong. I've been living under open meeting law for 35 years in other forums. I know what it looks like. Somehow it has not passed into here, and it's the law.
Thank you. Thank you. I do like to always refer people to a resource, so if you don't mind stopping up at the county attorney's office and getting the skinny.
I have a business to run.
Okay, I just wanted to give you that resource. Next, please.
On that comment, this is Juliet Miller. I've been addressing this for months, and on that comment, I have asked Wally to provide me with the statutes, which are now summaries, not statutes, that he's teaching you about this crap. This is not true. And what Wally is teaching you is not Montana law, nor is it based in Montana law or even Montana cases. What Wally gave me was based in Oregon and Washington cases. There has yet to be produced 7 weeks this week. I've been asking for it. I caught you guys here doing it before the meeting started, having a quorum and being taught by Wally about this statute. You're wrong. You're dead wrong. And there are penalties for this. And you 3 will cost this county a lot of money if we have to use legal remedies to write this. It's in public meeting law that you will pay for it. So I suggest you get your heads together and look at the law. Maybe consult your attorneys with MACO. And if they're advising you that you can make decisions without public comment, they're wrong. You're protecting your butts and not looking out for our county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Diane Magone, and not to change the subject or anything, but I am here to speak to the effort being made by our county attorney, our deputy county attorney, Wally Congdon, this afternoon on the Sierra Arm Mountain Road. And I would like to talk a little bit about the history of what's happened in the past 10 years, almost 10 years, since it was, we contend, illegally closed. And just kind of go through a timeline of what we've done. There's been a lot of efforts throughout the years and a lot of things to prevent anything from being done, including money. And then along, other things that we had to focus on, and of course COVID. So we're at this point now where we actually have a county commissioner, or a county attorney who can legally pursue what needs to be done to get the road reopened. So the timeline. The gate was initially installed by Plum Creek Lumber Company, and I'm not sure what year. It was taken out by a local individual with his road grader. I'm not going to give his name because I have not okayed it with him. And then again, in approximately the summer of 2013, another gate was installed by Paul Wheaton, which restricted all through travel. And he had bought that piece of land up by Cougar Creek. Shortly after that time, and I couldn't find the exact date, my brother Dale and his wife Becky wrote a letter to the editor protesting this closure. And I do have the article, and I tried to research the date, I couldn't find it. September of 2013, there was a public meeting with the Mineral County Commissioners requesting that the road be restored to public use. Standing room only. And this is a quote from the Mineral Independent article dated September 25th. Commissioners concluded that they would consult with the county attorney and other sources in a timely manner and continue to keep the public informed on the progress relating to the gate. May 4th, 2016, I wrote a letter to the editor announcing a public meeting with the Mineral County Commissioners would be held to request again that the Commissioners take up this matter. May 13th, 2016, public meeting with the Mineral County Commissioners. And at that time, a petition, which I have here in my hand, was presented to the Commissioners with approximately 150 names of mostly local residents, and most likely taxpayers. Although, sadly, a few of them are gone.
Diane, what year was that petition?
It was May 13th, 2016 that it was presented. And I don't know if Marcia was the county attorney. The copy should be in the file up in the county attorney's office. I have the original here. May 18th of 2016, there was a front page article in the Mineral Independent, which was a follow-up to the meeting discussing situation and documenting that the petition had been presented. December 16th, an email was sent to Ryan Weiss, who was a public access specialist in the Montana Governor's Office. I sent the email, requesting assistance with resolving this issue and restoring the road back to public use. December 20th, I had a response from Ryan Weiss stating that it had been reviewed by the governor and his staff and that he had been requested to look into the issue further and then respond directly to me. August 17th, the road was reopened by the fire team, and Lori Cotter is looking into this for more information for me. For the Sunrise Fire, repair work was done on the bridge on Trout Creek, and I personally know that because I can now drive over it more comfortably. And then improvements were also made on that time, at that time on the road for fire personnel. And then as soon as the fire was done, fire activity, we immediately put the gate back up and again restricted through traffic. In November 12th of 2017, I again sent an email to Ryan Weiss and talked about the Sunrise Fire and what had happened there with the reopening of the road. I requested that he meet with us in a public meeting with the Commissioners. February 19th, 2018, public meeting with the Mineral County Commissioners. I presented history of efforts to reopen the road to date. Ryan Weiss was unable to attend that meeting due to terrible weather and bad roads. Not uncommon around here. Also at that meeting, several individuals signed statements regarding their prior usage and why they had used it. August 20th of 2018, letter sent to Ellen Donahue and Carol Johnson by Bill Gear, signed by representatives of Hellgate Hunters and Anglers, Missoula Chapter, Helena Hunters and Anglers Association, Flathead Wildlife Incorporated from Kalispell, and Big Sky Upland Bird Association from Missoula, requesting that the county and the U.S. Forest Service look into the situation and voicing their concern that the road may be blocked illegally. Over the past several years, many conversations have been held regarding this situation with various individuals, including Mr. Bernard Lee of the Public Land Water Access Association, and I sent a whole packet of documentation of what we'd done to him. He at that time requested that I look further to try to prove it was a county road, and we did quite a bit of research at that time, and Wally knows more about that than I do because he's done more research. U.S. Forest Service employees, county employees, and others. People have continued to try and access the road over the past nine and a half years, but have been stopped by the gate, as well as verbal threats, including threats with a gun. And I do have the name of that individual also, but he's not here, so should it go to court, he's available.
Diane, I will have to allow other people to come up and speak. Can you wrap yours?
Yep, I will.
Okay.
I would like to therefore request that Wally Congdon be authorized to pursue any methods necessary to get the road reopened and restored to public use. Now, I do have this is on behalf of somebody else. Regarding the Sierra Iron Mountain Road closure, these are my comments to be submitted to the public comment portion of the February 17th, 2023 Mineral County Commissioners meeting. To the Mineral County Commissioners, I, Liz Gupton, have lived, worked, and recreated in Mineral County since moving to the area in September of 1974. During that time, I drove the Sierra Iron Mountain Road numerous times for working, Superior Ranger District, hunting, sightseeing, and even hiking. I was shocked and disappointed when the road was closed by a gate installed by an individual who bought property along the road. This is plain and simply wrong. Apparently, this individual thought he had the right to block access to a road that had been historically used by thousands over the century since it had been built, for all his selfish claim of private property. This is appalling and definitely not Montana. The majority of us legitimate Montanans are willing to let our neighbors enjoy the beauty and bounty of our backyards. I hope the gated closure can be corrected and opened to allow the continued use of the Sierra Iron Mountain Road that we have all enjoyed. And I'm almost done. But lastly, I do want to call your attention to a letter from Doug and Dana Austin.
I have that and I'll be reading that.
Oh, good. Okay, you'll read it. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I just would also like to ask, how many here are in support of opening that road? Okay. Thank you. Sorry I took so much time. But that was the
It was a
ground
very
for
nice
further
history.
comments.
It was a great history.
Okay, and I will share that with Wally and you.
Any other comments?
Good morning, my name is Michael Magone. I'm Diane's cousin. My father is Lee Magone. He's the sole remaining Magone sibling out of the original family from the Magone Ranch of Truck Creek. He's 94 years old and unable to be here, though I just spoke with him right before being here. And since he moved there in the spring of 1929, he could probably avail you of more history, if you need it, of the use of that road, at least during his lifetime. I'm here both to suggest that if you need information to visit with my dad, he certainly would love to have the road still open, even though he's not probably going to be driving it himself. He does enjoy going up there for the memories, the view. Occasionally you get some firewood and that sort of thing. From my standpoint, I'm just short of 63, and since I was probably about 6 years old, have made use of that road over the years, numerous times throughout the year. Not just during the summer and the fall when it's hiking or hunting or getting wood, but also going back to when Diane's and Dale's younger brother, Mark, and I would go up there in the wintertime, and it wasn't gated at that point in time. Very few people used it because of the condition, but we were sledding on that hill. It was probably one of the best luge runs for sleds at that point in time when you're 10 years old. So it is a year-round use, even though it's not necessarily vehicle use year-round. It's a great place to play in the wintertime as well. From my standpoint, I know that it takes effort to keep a road open, maintenance-wise. That's no easy thing, and I know there are sections of that road that are difficult. But I do believe that there are enough people currently, and have been over time with steady use, that is an important road to them. So if it is going to be closed, it only seems right to me that it should go through some sort of a process akin to this, where there's input and gives you an opportunity to hear both sides before making a decision. So from my standpoint, I'm in favor of pursuing whatever means to reopen the road, and then if it needs to be looked at after that, in terms of a hearing process, then go that route. Thank you for your effort.
Thank you.
I'm Dale Magone, and my sister's Diane, and my cousin Mike. And one of my earliest memories is using that road. We always took that road rather than come through town whenever we went to Missoula or any place like that. And we'd always sing, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. But we use that road all the time. And having it closed, well, we live out at Lozo now, my wife and I. And Diane and my dad continued to live there at Trout Creek. And we always took our ATV through there to go out to visit Dad and Diane. So before I wrote the letter to the editor, we were going around there and to find the road closed, and we were very disappointed. And that's kind of what generated the start of everything. And my sister Diane kind of took the bull by the horns and proceeded to pursue the case. And I just would like to see the road open, and I think it's a valuable piece of Montana history. And my understanding is there's a statute that says that any road in a county cannot be closed without permission of the county commissioners. That was not done. The person that didn't see any problem with it didn't have any authorization to do that. So I would just like to see it open. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Yes?
Sorry if I'm still wearing my coat, I'm still cold. My name is William Gare, Bill Gare. I'm the author of that letter that Diane mentioned. I have a copy if you haven't got one. Have they received copies?
Maybe several, oh yeah, well, it's up at the county attorney's office. Not this time.
I'm a recent, about 10 years ago, I retired after a 40-year career in Fish and Wildlife. Started with Montana Fish and Game, Utah Division of Wildlife, and much of my career was spending on doing things like this, providing access for public hunting and fishing opportunities and other outdoor recreation that were related to that. And I don't want to make a long comment because I think we have an attorney who will make some very good comments, but wanted to emphasize that when someone can close a road easily just by saying it's closed, I declare it private. If they can do it here, they can do it anywhere. And the loss of public access is one of the most severe things that we face in fish and wildlife management. And the use for, even if you don't hunt and fish, the fact that you do outdoor recreation, enjoy that, that's something the public has had use of. And when I looked at the road, I've got a pack of information here. I've gone back and researched that road to the legal records. And as I recall, that was first established as a public road in 1903. Under a different name at the time, but that was the road. And so this has got a long history of public use. It was not private then, and it is not really private now. It should be declared public and reopened to public access. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Madam Secretary, I know some people came far and wide in this topic. It's been popular. I wonder if we can invite Mr. Comden to comment back, because I know that this has been an issue that in the past we didn't have much help from our advisors and our land planner at the time. And I do agree. Well, I just have a quick question for you. Mr. Lee's relative, I know if there's some history, like that road is very old, maybe even been improved upon by the CCCs, et cetera. Can you or somebody get a statement from this gentleman who's 97 years old and then have it like be notarized, so should this thing ever come to, we need some testimony, he's, God forgive him, no longer here, can that be a legal document to enhance or argue this covenant?
We will, and we have, and we can do that, and we will. And I know Lee McGowan relatively well, and I also know his wife, and I also know my sister. So it's a personal deal in the sense that I know them. Mm-hmm. So we actually take it as a sworn deposition statement. We have them sign it, notarize it, and call it good, and do it that way to preserve the record. And that's the reason. And we will do that for sure. Because Lee, I think, is the oldest person that I know of that would have used it. And I wish that Bill Hankinson, Mr. Sear, those guys who passed away when I was a lot younger, they were in their 90s then. But he's the last piece of the institutional record, which matters a lot. So we will get that done, I think, for sure.
And then follow up, Ravalli County went through something like this. That would finally been settled,
That one got settled. Ravalli County won one and lost one, for a different reason, a different rationale.
Okay.
They did not have the record that we have on this road. That was part of what hurt Ravalli County.
So 1903, we weren't even a county yet, so you'd have to find documentation from the courthouse in Missoula.
Right, so what I found is I found the petitions that made it a county road in 1906. It was petitioned to the Missoula County Commissioners. And the road was not actually finished until 1934. They built this part to Sear to Iron Mountain first, which is a platted town site. And then they finished the rest of it from the town site of Sear across Andrew Garcia's land. And I have them up upstairs rolled out of the crossing from Sear this direction, where they took the 160s, the 160 acre parcels, and got the road right away from Andrew Garcia, Tough Trip Through Paradise. And the CCC, as part of the WPA project for the Depression, is actually who finished the road in 1934. Phenomenal piece of history. But this was a petition county right-of-way road to Missoula County. Who did that? Just nobody found it until I pulled it from Missoula's records. But we do have it. And this is the other letter from Doug Austin that he dropped off in the county attorney's office. And Doug left that upstairs in the county attorney's office. If it's the same letter, if it's different, I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I thought I would go
Thank
ahead,
you.
when it's my turn, I
Okay.
would read the letter from Attorney Doug
Yeah, I'll
Austin.
explain more about the process later that we do, but that, to answer your question perfectly, Roman, that is ideal that we preserve that record, because that's really important. Definitely.
Just a thought. Okay. You're visiting your relative today?
I could, no, yeah,
Oh, I'm good.
yeah. Okay, I'd like to read the letter from Doug Austin, attorney at law, dated February 16th, 2023, addressed to the Mineral County Commissioners in regard to the Sear Iron Mountain Road. Dear Commissioners, I am writing to support Mr. Congdon's effort to affirm that the Sear Iron Mountain Road is a public road. I will be out of town on Friday when you are receiving public comment. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, I worked in the woods and at the Diamond Mill. Living near Tarkio, my neighbors and I would occasionally drive what we called the back road from the Lozo exit to the mill on Trout Creek. It was the general opinion in our neighborhood and in the Superior community in general that this was a public road. Thank you for your consideration. Very truly yours, Douglas R. Austin. Do we have any other comments?
My name is Clayton Ward. I have a comment that doesn't need response to, it just needs something taken care of. Public meeting rules, laws say that from the time you start your meeting to the time it's completely over, you were there. I sat there and I witnessed something coming down the hall that is, I believe, is trying to hide the video of what's going on in this room, where I saw at least 2 commissioners walk into a room, close the door, and they were in there for about 10 minutes. So that disturbs me, that you guys are not wanting to be transparent, and you're hiding things from the public. And I'm baffled about that. It just, I understand you guys need your time, but you know what? You don't do it during a public meeting time, and it's not supposed to be a quorum where you guys are able to sit there and discuss stuff. And this is your office, not the HR office. No comment needed. Oh, wait, I do have something else. I'm gonna mention it. Sorry, Julie. No, 2 weeks ago, we stood here and we discussed this deal about minutes, and you, Don, turned around and said they are available and up to date. Today, you sat here in front of everybody and said, oh no, they're not up to date as of January. Wait a minute, you lied to us 2 weeks ago and now you're trying to cover it up. Thank you.
Julie Miller, I'm the person that you told that to, and you've told that to me for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. You have said they're on the website. They are not on the website. They are nowhere on the website since November of 2021. These are violations that are finable under public meeting law. And for each violation, it adds up. Straighten this out. You've now been, gosh, I think we're close to 7 or 8 weeks since you met with your webmaster that you're paying again. You have a website that is defunct and not working properly, and you are going to pay the same people to update it, and yet nothing has been done since you met with them in December. So your claim of minutes are available even in Kellann's office is untrue. And that's violation of law that is punishable by fines that we end up paying, and we're not willing to pay it on your behalf. I'm not sure what's going on here, but whatever it is needs to be fixed. It's unacceptable. If Darren is unable to do the job, perhaps you need to outsource that part of the job. But whatever it is, it's unacceptable. I do not accept to pay your fines because you can't do your jobs in a timely manner. Reading the minutes in public as part of the meeting when you start the meeting is appropriate, and everyone else can do it, but you guys don't seem to want to follow all of Robert's rules, only part of them, and that's really not okay. If the West End Board of Trustees can follow Robert's rules and do their minutes, their treasurer's reports, and old business and new business, I'm sure that you guys can incorporate that into a functional meeting instead of turning your backs to the public and passing your minutes behind our backs. Please correct the issue. We don't deserve to pay for what you won't do. Thank you.
I'm sorry for the interruption, but I would like to bring this meeting back to the Sierra Mountain Road discussion because there's a lot of people who have come to talk about it. So I think Kenny really had some comments, right, Ken?
Well, I should have been agenda item.
I'm in favor of opening the road too, by the way, but I have a question for Wally.
Let me hear it, Paul, shall I?
Is that part of the old original road to the Courts Town site?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Lori Stetzel. I'll make a comment following Juliet about the website. I spent 5 hours yesterday, 5 hours, Dawn, looking at the website because you said it was all available. There's nothing in there since 2021. This is 2023.
Could I just have you all, we will get on the computer and find those because they.
I would like you to show us how to find them.
I'm so happy. I don't want to get
Like
into a
after
debate right
the-
now. I'm just saying, let's
They're
go
not
take a
there.
look. Okay,
They're not there.
we'll look. That's okay. That's all.
I would like you to show us
Yep,
today
so I'm not
how
going
to
to
find them.
continue this exchange. I am offering you, let's do this. I'll show you they're there. But let's move on now.
Okay, when will this be done?
We can do it today.
Okay, after the meeting?
Let's set a time a little bit later. I'd like to continue. I don't want this to be an exchange or a debate. I'm just saying to you, I am more than happy. Maybe you want to come in on my office hours and we will address all these issues. But let's go forward now.
Okay. My next question is, when you guys do an agenda item and it moves to an action item, who follows up to see if anything has been done besides no one?
Could you clarify that, please?
The only thing I can think of right now is the dog ordinance that was supposed to have been done whenever and it never got done. So who follows up to see if the stuff is getting done? You guys? Who? Roman? Do you know?
When we passed that, it came to my attention just about a week ago that the county attorney at the time did not put the penalty portion into it. So I was never even aware of that until, I don't know if it got tested in court and they found out or how that came to be. But the current county attorney, are you not remedying that?
We are.
Okay.
We have to redraft, actually what happened, to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
What happened is everyone did a resolution. This is Mr. Condon. We did a resolution. A resolution says we intend to do an ordinance. Regardless of what everyone said, they never wrote the ordinance. There is no dog ordinance.
Okay,
It was
so-
never written, it was never done, and the first person who figured it out was me 5 weeks ago. Everybody's saying
Because
enforce
there was a
it.
dog issue.
The sheriff is writing tickets for violating the county's dog ordinance. There's no ordinance.
Not in the county, but in the city. There
The
is
city
in
of
the town.
Superior has one, but the county does not.
Okay,
So the county is going to do one, we're in the middle of trying to get it finished, and we're gonna caught up with the other stuff, but we have to write it and then adopt it as a county ordinance. That's what it takes to do it.
So, Mr. Congdon, sorry, but
That's okay.
after we passed that resolution, unaware that it didn't have the next leg to it, I went down to Justice Court, and I saw it on the wall, so that's the same one that the deputies were writing, and it was in fact not
An ordinance, it was a resolution, not an ordinance, right? It was posted on the wall to write this ticket, and there was never an ordinance. It was a resolution to do an ordinance, they never did it.
Okay, so
we did it wrongly.
who else follows up to see if these items are being taken
Well, I
care of?
thought I did, and I saw it, and that's the same thing the deputies saw. So they were writing a code that was actually a resolution number, not a.
Right, that's what happened exactly.
Yeah, I
So
thought I.
how many other things have slipped through the cracks because nobody followed up on them?
The really good news, and then we'll end this and move on to the next one, is that we've got 3 very aware commissioners at this point, and we're really diligent, and these things aren't going to happen again. And that's the best that I can say to you.
Okay.
So thank you.
My next question is, where is the 3% marijuana tax going? This was brought up a couple months ago, maybe.
There was no
Wally made the
public
comment that Medicare patients get free marijuana, which is not true. You maybe need to check your marijuana laws. But where is the 3% going? Has anybody figured that out? When it got put on the ballot, I'm assuming you guys put it on the ballot, didn't you know where it was gonna go then?
It can go to the general fund.
Maybe it needs to go into the sheriff's department. So
Well,
you can
that
pay
is,
them more money.
You know what, I would encourage you to get on the agenda and bring that up so that we could actually have a discussion about that.
I would like to get on the agenda.
Well, so you're gonna go ahead and call Darren a little bit later, and he'll be in front of the calendar, and he'll sign you up, and you'll fill out a form asking to be on, and then we'll have a great conversation about that.
Okay. My next question is, why was Toth not requested or subpoenaed to return to Mineral County?
Okay, again, this isn't a
And-
question and answer, and
This
that
is
would be.
public comment
It is,
time.
but
If
we
I
don't
wanna
have
ask
any-
a question, why can't I ask a
But
question?
the thing is that it's not question and answer, so you're making a comment, you think that Toth should have been subpoenaed.
I think he should have been fired, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So do we need to make that an agenda item to discuss it also?
Wally, you'll need to step in, because I don't know that that is an issue for us that we even have control over.
Well, certainly you have control over it, you're the commissioners.
For subpoena,
You have subpoena power.
we know we have subpoena power, but this is a different issue, and I would advise you, Wally, in fact, I'm gonna stop the conversation. It's I think that is a question that really goes to the county attorney, that should be addressed in his office.
Where are you guys in respect to your updated hiring policies and whatever you're doing?
It's an ongoing issue that we are still working on. That's where we are.
So is that why new deputies are not being hired?
Again, that's a comment that you have. New deputies are not being hired. I think that you would find, if you look into that with your sheriff's department, you would find the answer to that, and that's not quite true. But that's a discussion that you can have with the sheriff's department.
I know we have 3 deputies currently, so we're short 3. Are we allowed 6? So is the process of looking for people, has it begun?
I would encourage you to go look at the bulletin board as one of the pieces of advertisement that is out for the sheriff's department, right around the corner there, and that's
I know
just
where
one
it's at.
piece. So that's one piece, yeah.
So you don't know if the sheriff's department has hired anybody?
I do know where that process is, but again, if you want to come back and talk about it, public comment is not the time that we're going to answer questions.
Well, what is
It is your
public comment
It's your
for?
comment. It is for your comment, and we take those
So I need to make an
comments.
agenda item out of everything?
Well, if
apparently?
you want discussion, yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Next thing is, I know that you guys were supposed to set up a meeting with the Department of Revenue as Mr. Burley had requested. Has that been done?
It has.
February 24th, 10 a.m.
February 24th at 10?
Correct, correct.
Okay. Well, I guess everything is a question, so you probably can't answer the outcome of the investigation as to why the deputy that transported a prisoner on a Borsford was.
You know, again, that it should be taken up with the county attorney's office.
I suppose I'll have to talk to somebody else about this too. Why are the sheriff's office wages so much less than the JP and the clerk of court? I just realized that like a couple of weeks ago.
I think that's
I think these guys
inaccurate
make 20 bucks
information.
an
I think
hour.
it's inaccurate information. So if you wanna come talk to me at office hours, we can have a discussion, put it on the agenda, then it will be open for
Sure,
discussion.
agenda will be full. My last comment, and it's a comment, not a question, so you'll be happy. I think it's very apparent that the three of you, and the county attorney's office are not pleased that Ryan Funk is our sheriff, even though he was elected by the people in this community. It clearly shows on your facial expressions and your discussions and all of that. And I'm just wanting to understand why. Why are you guys not assisting him, helping him do his job? What?
Putting roadblocks up everywhere you go.
Excuse
They
me,
are.
hold on, we're gonna keep this the way it's supposed to be. If you have a comment, you'll come to the podium.
That was a comment. You can come up.
And it's one person at the podium at a time.
So why are you directing that at me?
Well,
I'm
because
up.
It was at me.
I'm gonna
It was
have
at
you
me.
move away
Well, she's
if
looking at me.
If Clayton comes up.
So you guys have no comment at all about that? Ryan has done a great job here. He has done a great job. I'm sure that there are people that don't agree, and that's fine. The last sheriff that you guys appointed did a shit job, horrible job.
Thank
And
you
he never
for your
should have
comment.
even been hired.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm not done commenting.
Well, I would like you to stop with the disparaging remarks. I understand what your
What
comment
good does
is.
it do to have public comment if you
Well,
can't
because
talk?
we can talk without
You know,
being
I have lived here
disparaging.
for 26 years. I had a business here for several. This, you guys, the commissioners, nothing has changed in 26 years. It's the same old crap, year after year after year after year. And you should all be ashamed of yourselves for the way that you treat the public. And I would like to also thank Julia for videotaping this, because otherwise people wouldn't know what is going on. Most people work when you have these. I take care of my husband, so I can't get away very often, but I'm gonna try to start coming. Because nothing ever happens. Nothing happens. Or you won't answer questions for whatever reason, because I guess it's a big secret. So that's all I have to say.
If you have a comment, could you come forward, please?
Yeah, and my name's Mike Dowling, and I had talked to you guys a while back about some black mold or mold issues. And I just wanted to come up and, you know, this is comment period. I'm not asking for discussion. I just wanted to comment a little bit on it and maybe clarify some of my comments from last time. I didn't say that there was black mold in the building, or if I did, I didn't mean to. I said I was heard at a meeting that there was. And so I wanted to comment a little bit about my experience and how we dealt with it as a contractor when we found black mold or found the possibility of black mold. So in this case, the typical thing, I don't know who did the initial cleanup that was done, but if it was a county employee, I would certainly hope that he had all of his personal protection equipment on, from a respirator to suits to gloves and booties. I would hope, and I haven't been in there and done any inspections, that if there was a cold air return in that room, that was sealed off. Because when you start to tear apart this stuff, it's when you disturb the mold spores. If they're buried in a wall, the odds of getting sick are very little. But once you start to tear things out, you disturb the mold spores and they can go through the whole building if there was a cold air. Typically, everybody would, all the accesses would be sealed up like a balloon, so it couldn't escape and get into the building. I don't know what happened. I'm just saying that these are things that should have happened to ensure the public was safe. And as far as it being black mold that may cause an illness or a death, a lot of that depends on the age of the public. Do they have a respiratory system that's susceptible to them types of things? But the biggest thing is notifying the public that the possibility of black mold was discovered during a remodel, or in this case, the carpet being soaking wet. So they know if they come in, to warn them that if it's there, it's there. So they can't come into a public building and get sick and not be notified, because they're gonna open it up for a lawsuit. And if you didn't notify them, you're gonna lose. So the way I understand it is, and what I'll tell you is, so there's, when you first open up a building and you look and you see the black on the walls and the studs, that can be all kinds of things. Okay, it can be mildew, it could be pre-construction, the board's got mildewed a little bit and they're wet. Them things are typically not of concern at all. They're easy to tell if you look at it, because it's opened up. If the board was mildewed when you got it, that coloring and that mildew is going to stop at the top and the bottom of the board, where mold will grow and spread, and you can see that. And so the only thing that I want to really say is, until the building has been tested, so, and usually if you get the right testing companies, it's like 48 hours. They can bring machines in. You can do Petri dishes and stuff from Home Depot, but they'll bring machines in. They'll set one outside. They'll get the mold count, the spore count on the outside. They'll compare it to the inside. And then they'll tell you if it meets government standards. But to have the sheriff's department and stuff working in there and doing their job before you get it tested, I think could come back and haunt you. And so, no matter what has been done, and I've heard, and I don't know if this is accurate, that somebody went in and did a mitigation, wiped the boards down with bleach and this type of stuff, and that's really not the correct way to do it. It will help, bleach will kill mold, but it also seals up the wood in a manner that you don't want done. They use a different product on it that will kill it without sealing the wood up, and then when it's done, you will paint the wood, or wherever it was, with a mold paint that seals it up so it can't happen. The number one thing that we always looked at when we were looking at it, well, is it mildew, is it mold, or where did it come from? The first thing we look at, is there an intrusion in this building of moisture? Is there condensation, or is there water lines leaking, or is it coming from the outside and coming in? And the minute that the answer to that question is yes, then everything you're doing until you fix the leaks is a waste of time. Because you're going to kill the molds that's there, and it's going to get wet, and it's going to come right back. So the leaks got to be addressed. But every time I was involved in this, and there was moisture coming into the building, we moved forward assuming that black mold could be present. And we didn't mitigate it. I did for a while. I went to the schools and did mold mitigation, but because of liabilities, I got out of that. But when I worked for St. Clair Construction on the different reservations in the Northwest, with the old and the buildings the way they were not maintained, we ran into it on a lot of projects. And so I think that moving forward, if you haven't done it, you should get somebody involved to make sure the building's safe. Just have them come in, test the building, make sure that the mold spore count is within federal standards, and you're not putting your employees or anybody else at risk then. And then you can move forward with sealing up, but you've got to find out where the leaks are coming from and fix the leaks, or it's all just coming back. So, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, and I would like to thank you. You did a very nice job presenting your viewpoint.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
Thank you.
give you my experience.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any other comments?
Sure, some of you guys know me. My name is Frank Mead. I'm with the West End Volunteer Fire Department. Also chairman of the board for the West End. I was asked to come in here and talk about, recently, St. Regis and West End has recently put in a grant for new radios, repeaters, mobile radios and stuff, to the sum of like $273,000. I've recently asked Dwayne to type me up a letter of support I'd also like to have, the full commissioner, help type up that letter and with their signatures on it. I mean, I think that'd be great.
So, Frank, are you asking for a letter of support for you to write the grants? Is that what?
Oh, no,
Oh.
it's already been submitted.
Oh, okay.
It's already been submitted,
Okay,
so.
so should
we're
we
good to go
see
there.
the grant before we write the letter of support, so we know what we're supporting?
I can send you the grant.
That'd be perfect.
And then you guys can look at it. Dwayne has already, written me a letter already, the more support I get, the better chances we have of getting it, so.
Thank you.
So, anyway, thank you.
Thanks, that's a nice update.
A little lighter than what we have there,
Are there any other comments?
Commissioners, I'm Bert Lundler. I live in Missoula, but I recreate in Monroe County much of the time. I enjoy the public lands here. And although I don't have any specific information regarding the Searam Road and its status, I do greatly appreciate the work of local officials who keep our public roads public. It's particularly important in the case where these roads provide access to our public lands. Our public lands really aren't public if we can't get to them. So I just want to state how much I appreciate the hard work that's involved in keeping public lands public. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? With that, we will adjourn this meeting. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
We've got agenda items afterwards, right? After lunch?
We do. This is adjourned. If you're leaving, have a nice weekend. If you're coming back, I'll see you.
Sooner rather than later.